Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Field of Dreams here on this evening, where the Onate Knights are about to take on the Atrisco Heritage Academy Jaguars. Now, Cameron, we have a pretty interesting match with us tonight. Now, Scott Vlee is going to be taking on as the new head coach for the Onate Knights, and he will be taking on Patrick Johnson, head coach of the Atrisco Heritage Academy football team. But let's just take it in for a second. I mean, second week of high school football. What a great thing.
Max, I'm very excited about tonight's matchup. I'll tell you what, we were watching pregame warm-ups about 50 minutes ago, and I saw something that I rarely saw last year. I saw Onate high school quarterbacks throwing the ball during warm-ups. We only saw them throw the ball maybe 5 or 6 times a game last season. That's going to be totally different with the installation of the new spread offense this year.
Definitely, Cameron. It was very, very rare. We saw Aaron Sanchez get the ball, and typically he was handing it off to high-powered backs like Matthew Young, who has since graduated. But the new coach, Scott Vlee, coming out of Midland Lee High School from Texas, has tried to implement a very, very pass-heavy offense, although we have heard that there are still going to be signs of that triple option.
We have, Max, and I'm actually glad that you mentioned Matthew Young, the high-powered back who is now a freshman linebacker. He switched positions for Doug Martin at New Mexico State. I actually see him down there, and he's looking to cheer on his brother, number 24, the senior safety, Monroe Young, who has offers from New Mexico State, UNM, the Air Force Academy, Eastern New Mexico University, and UTEP, just to name a few, who want them to play football in college.
Definitely, Cameron. Two very, very talented brothers down on the turf. Now, Onate lost to Cleveland last week, 52-22, and that is going to be interesting tonight. We'll see if their defense can step it up a bit and see if their offense can carry it the same way now that they're trying to implement this new offensive strategy.
Max, Atrisco's going to have to be careful this week. Last week in their first game of the season, they gave up 48 points to a Monzano Monarchs team, obviously a team that has Jordan Bird, a kid who can run a 4.25 40-yard dash. I don't know if Onate has those kinds of athletes this year, but they have people who are pretty close to that.
Sure, Cameron. Now the Jaguars are taking the field right now. The Jaguars lost 14-0 last year to Onate when they played them. But it's going to be a very, very different ball game, Cameron, because they are going to have to focus more on strengthening their secondary and make sure that they keep their guard up on that aspect of the game, as opposed to stacking the box and trying to take down the run from guys like Josiah Fielder and Matthew Young.
You know, you're exactly right. We would come out here and call the Onate games last year, and we'd be impressed by the arsenal of talent that they had in their backfield with Forrest McKee, who's now playing fullback on scholarship at UTEP. Guys like Jake Elmore, you said Josiah Fielder. It's going to be very different. We might even see a couple empty sets tonight with just quarterback Aaron Sanchez in the backfield, which would have been unheard of under the direction of Brent Jaquez.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't surprise me, Cameron. Aaron Sanchez is going to be coming on in this game as a senior, although he did start last year as well for the Knights. And now the Onate Knights are coming onto the field right now. This is Onate's homecoming game as well, so I'm sure that student section is very juiced up and ready for their Dirty South team to take on this team from Albuquerque.
Max, how about those new lids out there, those new helmets that the Knights had? Last week they had their traditional black helmets, but this week for homecoming they broke out the white helmets. I like the change out here. You don't see very many Cruces teams switching it up when it comes to their headgear, but I like the change for tonight.
Definitely, Cameron. I think it looks very, very good. Now, as far as Atrisco goes, they lost to Monzano last week, 48-26. That's going to be another sign they're going to need to step up their secondary if they're going to want to shut down the Onate Knights and avoid an L down here in Las Cruces.
That's exactly right. And, you know, it's the whole dynamic of the Dirty South versus the Albuquerque schools that we always talk so much about, and it permeates through high school football into the college level. NMSU versus UNM is obviously going to be a big game next Saturday up in Albuquerque, and it goes through our athletic departments. Like the New Mexico State athletic director, Mario Mocha, actually just interviewed for the job at UNM. He didn't get it, though.
No, Cameron, that's going to have some interesting implications. That job went to a former LSU assistant athletic director. Looks like both teams are getting set up down here on the field, and Atrisco Heritage is going to be kicking off tonight.
Well, I'm excited, Max. I was hoping that Onate would get to receive the ball first because I've been so anxious ever since Scott Vlee was hired out of Midlands Lee High School, a high school that you see in Friday Night Lights. I've been interested to see what this high up-tempo spread offense will look like for Onate.
Definitely, Cameron. Now, head coach Scott Vlee actually comes from El Paso initially. He used to be He used to be a coach throughout El Paso, and his predecessor, Brent Jaquez, is now an assistant coach at El Paso Franklin High School.
Brent Jaquez was always a great guy. We loved getting to talk to him after games. He was always very good to us here at LCPS TV. But he decided that it was time for a change. He had felt that he had set a solid foundation for Onate High School that Coach Reliz was able to pick up on.
Certainly, Cameron. It looks like these Onate players are juiced up and ready to get the ball put into their possession and try and put 6 on the board tonight. Now the first quarter is just starting off. A solid 12 minutes on the clock as we get things started here at the Field of Dreams. Pretty low click off to the right side. It's going to be grabbed, fumbled nearly, but it looks like Onate is going to be able to keep the possession. That was picked up by number 8, Joel Molenda Jr.
That's kind of a hidden motivation behind the squib kick, Max. Although it's not traveling very far, those up men there on the kickoff team aren't known to have the best of hands, so you may never know. The weird shape of the football might cause them to muff the ball there early on in the game.
Yeah, exactly, Cameron. You know, you can also, just like you said early on in the game, it could be attributed to nerves. So let's see if Aaron Sanchez is going to have those same nerves and make some nice or not so nice passes in this upcoming drive. Now, Cameron, it looks like the Jaden Diaz is actually coming out, and he's going to be playing quarterback for the first play of the game. Gets the snap, looks out to his left side. He's rolling out to the left side, rolls out to the right side again. He's still pushing forward, and he's going to push forward. Cameron, I think that was actually Aaron Sanchez.
That was Aaron Sanchez, and I'm sorry about that, Max. We were a little confused there because we would see a little bit of Jaden Diaz last year, and we'd see a little bit of Aaron Sanchez. Jaden Diaz, who is a year younger than Aaron, would be more of the running threat, but we never saw Jaden Diaz lined up at that special all-purpose back there in the slot like he was on that play.
Some interesting, Cameron. Now, Centennial High School actually has rotates quarterbacks, and Lance Frost, who is one of their quarterbacks, actually plays receivers. So let's see if Onate can be successful in the same way. Catch is made. Onate is going to get a solid 5 yards on the play. Aaron Sanchez sent it out, and that was caught by Monroe Young. That was a solid 4-yard gain, bring up 3rd and 6 for the Knights as we have 3 seconds left to go, and that's going to bring up 11 minutes left in this first quarter. Sanchez is going to take the snap, fakes the handoff, play action pass. He's taken down nearly. Pass is deflected by number 5 for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, Ethan Harded. Cameron, what a fantastic effort by the Atrisco Heritage front 7 to get down and nearly sack Aaron Sanchez.
Max, I didn't quite catch the number of the Onate running back on that play, but the Atrisco Jaguars showed blitz very late on the play, and the running back wasn't able to pick it up in time, and that's why Aaron Sanchez had to make that ill-fated decision.
10:49 left to go in the first quarter. This will set up a 4th and 5 situation for the Onate High School Knights. Looks like they are going to be punting on this play. 1 man sent back for the Jaguars at their 25-yard line. But he's going to take it a little bit low, sends it out high, though, off the left side. Number 7 back there for the Jaguars is going to take it. And looks like he's going to try and run it back. That's Angel Ramirez. Switching forward up the right side of the field. He's still going. He's at the 30. There's a flag out. He's still pushing forward. The 50, the 40. He's cutting through the middle. Ball is fumbled. Now, Cameron, I believe this may be taken back. We'll see.
I believe so, Max. We see 2 flags on the play already, and I believe we're going to get a block in the back. Number 81 for the Jaguars is shaking up on the play, and I think that is going to be a block in the back on the Knights, but we'll see what the call is from our referee, J.E. Wells.
Indeed, Cameron. But, I mean, no matter what the call is, still a great effort from number 7, Angel Ramirez. He did a great job of slamming forward, bobbing and weaving through those different Onate defenders to get some yardage, even though it will be taken back. 10:30 left to go in the first quarter. Jaguars are going to have the ball inside of their own territory.
So here we go. The offense for the Jaguars thought they were going to have great field position to start out this evening's game. However, the holding is going to walk them back to around the 19 or 20-yard line, Max, which will be interesting. I'm interested to see what they have in terms of their offensive set here. We know that they relied a lot on the option attack last year, much like the Onate Knights did. And much like the Onate Knights, once again, they're going to change it up and open it up just a little bit. But we will see a few elements of that triple option attack still in this Jaguars offense.
And the first 2 games of the season are critical, Cameron. I mean, they're critical points to make improvement and set a tone for the rest of the season. I'm sure that's exactly what both teams intend to do tonight. 10:30 left to go in the first quarter. Atrisco Heritage has it 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line. Quarterback takes the snap. He's going to keep it. Sends it right out to number 7, who's going to push forward. Past the 20-yard line, he'll be pushed out of bounds. Nearly getting the first down. And Cameron, quarterback for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars is Michael Alvidrez.
That's right, Max. Michael Alvidrez, the quarterback, the senior, who also plays a little bit of free safety. He made a great timely decision there to pitch it out to number 7, Ramirez, who was able to gain a good amount of yardage there on first down.
10:22 left to go in the first quarter. That will actually set up a first down for the Jaguars. All right. There's a flag out on the play. I believe it was a false start.
I believe so, Max. Just a little bit of pre-game jitters to get us started off here in the first quarter. We're going to have offsides, actually.
Oh, all right. So that is going to move the Jaguars forward. It looks like, a bit of jitters, like you were saying, Cameron, on both sides of the ball this far early on in the game, but I think they both intend to shape it up. 10:22 left to go in the first quarter. After that penalty, we'll set up a 1st and 5 situation for the Jaguars. Alvidrez takes it, and once again there's a penalty, although this time I believe it was on the Jaguars. Let's see here, head coach. No, that is going to be encroachment once again for the Onate Knights, Cameron, and that will give the Jaguars another 4 even before they got the chance to get a first down in the first place.
That has to be frustrating if you're an Onate Knights fan. Just those dumb pregame jitters that give them a first down.
Alvidrez with the handoff. That'll gain a solid 5 yards for the Jaguars. And that was courtesy of Atrisco Heritage's number 2, Antonio Gonzalez.
We're going to see a lot of production out of the fullbacks tonight for the Jaguars, Max.
Alvidrez takes the snap. Handoff once again.
It's interesting the combination, the 1-2 punch that they're going to have out of their fullbacks. You don't see a whole lot of fullback play on any level of football these days, but they do have 2 solid fullbacks. And number 2, who we just saw, Antonio Gonzalez, and then number 84, Jose Ramirez, will get some good production in for them tonight.
Yeah, I was initially anticipating a shootout, Cameron, but it looks like Atrisco Heritage is being smart and just sticking to the ground game so far. This will set up a 3rd and 1 situation for the Jaguars. 9:23 left to go in the first quarter. Alvidrez takes it, fake handoff, tries to fake the screen pass, but he's taken down. Ball is fumbled, although I believe they're going to call it down. No. Let's see here what head ref J.E. Wells has to say about the play. Now, Cameron, the Onate Knights did recover that fumble. That's going to set up a 1st and 10 for Onate.
Max, it looked like a little bit of a broken play there. Those defensive ends on each side for the Knights were able to read the play right away, and they were able to get to the quarterback, Alvidrez, who ended up fumbling the ball.
Exactly, Cameron. He tried 2 fake passes out, but in the end it just wasted time for him. Aaron Sanchez with the snap. Handoff. It's going to give a solid 2 yards for the Onate Knights, and that handoff was to number 41, Johnny Gutierrez for the Knights.
I'd be interested to see how that learning curve was for Aaron Sanchez to learn a completely new offense, an offense that he was abandoning, that he grew up in for the Knights.
Well, certainly, Cameron, but it looks like right now they're just sticking to the triple option they had last season. I think both teams are trying to keep things more conservative this early on into the game, and later on maybe Aaron Sanchez will crank out his arm and see.
So automatically they're faced with a 3rd and long here after 2 unsuccessful running plays. Maybe it's time to open it up through the air.
Aaron Sanchez takes it, drops back, looking out to his right side, sends it out quick, catch is made. That'll bring up a 1st down, courtesy of number 5, Brandon Veliz. Now, Cameron, Brandon Veliz was very, very wide open. You could tell the zone coverage sort of broke down for Atrisco.
Definitely, and there's a kid who's going to be an impact player as a wide receiver. He did end up scoring a touchdown, one of the very few scoring possessions that the Knights had last week at Cleveland High School.
Sanchez lined up, 3 receivers out to his left side, looking to his left, and it is intercepted by Atrisco, number 8. And he is going to be taken down at the Atrisco 15-yard line. That was courtesy of number 8, Rayshawn Moore, the strong safety.
Max, just a little bit of miscommunication there between number 12, Aaron Sanchez, and his wide receiver, and a great job of number 8, Rashawn Moore, the senior strong safety for the Jaguars, of picking up on that.
Yeah, it didn't look like Sanchez had enough air under the ball as he would have liked to. He fired, and it was looking a bit soft, and that safety just certainly took advantage of it. And now Atrisco is going to have another chance at putting 6 on the board with 8 minutes left to go in the first quarter.
So here we go. They're automatically going to go with 2 wide here, and in response to that, Onate is going to show cover 1 with a lot of guys stacked up in the box. 5 defensive linemen to try and contain that option threat.
Yeah, let's see if Michael Alvidrez tries to break out his arm and maybe be more successful than Aaron Sanchez was on the last play. Alvidrez, one man accompanying him in the backfield, sends 7 in motion. He's going to send it out to 7. 7's going to slam forward. He's still pushing through, and that will give Atrisco Heritage High School a first down. Great job of Angel Ramirez to muscle forward. That is a very, very physical back, Cameron.
A very interesting setup that they have there because they do have very capable fullbacks in Gonzalez and Ramirez, but then they have another Ramirez, Angel, number 7, the senior running back, who can play very well, as we've seen early on.
We got 2 men accompanying Alvidrez in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to the tailback. Ramirez is going to be taken down. Short gain of perhaps 1 yard.
A great example of closing speed through the gaps by the Knights defensive line. Ramirez tried to run right. He tried to shift and bounce back through the B gap on the outside, and there was nothing there for him to run through.
7:20 left to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 9 for the Jaguars. Alvidrez set up, box stacked to the max. He is going to hand it off still to Ramirez. Looks like no gain on the play, Cameron. Perhaps 1 yard at the most.
A little reminiscent of the Onate Knights defense that we saw last year, Max, with guys like Forrest McKee and Matt Young at linebacker. And then I don't know if you remember number 88, James Martin, who played a little bit of tight end and a little bit of defensive end, who led the team in sacks all year. All have since graduated. It's a new-look defense this year for the Scottvilleys and the Knights.
Exactly. New look, new coach. Alvidrez is going to take a roll out to the left side, sends it out to number 21, the receiver, who's going to wrap up and push out of bounds for an Atrisco Heritage first down. Catch made by, I do not have the receiver's name. 6:34 left to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 Jaguars after that catch.
Well, we don't have number 21's name on our stat sheet here, Max, but it was a great job of 21 of having the recognition to find the sticks and get the first down and fumble.
It looks like ball is fumbled down there by the Jaguars, perhaps recovered by the Knights.
Fumble on the play. Recovered by number 7, Angel Ramirez.
And there was recovered by Atrisco Heritage number 7, Angel Ramirez.
A bit of sloppy play already, as we've seen. It's not like it's raining out here and the ball has butter drenched over it. They need to hold on to the ball a little bit better, Max.
Yeah, Cameron, some unfortunate mistakes made on both sides of the ball. They definitely need to shape it up. Alvidrez with the handoff.
Max,
actually, I believe he kept it, Cameron. My apologies.
You know what? It's okay. I think that was another example of a broken play by the Jaguars there. I think number 7, Angel Ramirez, was expecting to get the ball. He never got the ball, and Alvidrez just tucked it and ran with it, which didn't look like was part of the plan there.
Yeah, Cameron, quite a few broken plays and screwed up handoffs for the Jaguars. Alvidrez, 2 men accompanying him in the backfield, takes it with quarterback keeper once again. Slams forward for the Atrisco Heritage first down.
Great, powerful run there by number 10, Michael Alvidrez. Looked reminiscent of Cardale Jones running over the Oregon Defenders in the 2015 National Championship game.
Yeah, Cameron. That, and also, that is going to be a holding call for the Jaguars. Like I was saying earlier, we've seen quite a few quarterback-designed run plays from the Cruces Bulldogs. Peyton Ball, a very, very physical runner, and also the starting quarterback for the El Dorado Eagles. So I think that has certainly been a motif throughout these first 2 games so far. 5:20 left to go in the first quarter. A 3rd and 14 for the Jaguars after that
So now you
penalty.
almost have to pass, and they have 3 wide receivers set out.
Yeah. Pitches out actually to the left side. Ramirez is going to be taken down. It looks like the Jaguars are still going to have a solid 8 yards to go before
What a
first
great
down.
open field tackle there, Max, by number 24, Monroe Young. And that's one of those things that stands out on film if you're a college recruiter. The ability to make a nice, clean tackle in the open field, that's what you want on your college team.
Now with the whistle, timeout by Onate.
Timeout taken by the Knights.
4:47 left to go in this first quarter. 4th and 5th for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars.
The City of the Crosses 12-man golf tournament.
Now, we'll see, Cameron. I mean, what does Alvidrez want to do here? They have been they've been relatively successful on both sides, but still, like I was saying before, a couple mistakes when it comes to the handoff, but pretty solid passing game, although there have been few of them. So does he want to whip it out to one of his receivers or just try and push forward?
You know what? If I'm the head coach, Coach Johnson for the Atrisco Jaguars, why not air it out here a little bit if you choose to punt it? If it were me being the conservative football coach that I think I am, I would go ahead and play field position. He'll punt the ball away and see what your defense can do. But if they choose to go for it, great. Why not try and air it out?
Definitely, Cameron. It could certainly make a statement, give them some momentum going forward if they decide to do that.
It looks like they
it
are
looks
going
like
to send
they
out
will.
3 wide, Max. We'll see. Last time it was an option when they showed this look.
Alvidrez takes it, rolls out to the right side, has 84 coming at him. He is sat down. I believe that may be incomplete, Cameron, because his hand was going forward. However, that was a fantastic tackle by number 84 for the Knights, Eric Ortega.
What a hit. He just rocked number 10, Michael Alvidrez's world there. He's lucky he didn't fumble there. His arm was going forward there, so they're going to roll it an incomplete pass. However, it is still a turnover on downs, and Onate's going to get the ball back with good field position for their offense.
4:41 left to go in this first quarter. 1st and 10 now for the Onate Knights as Aaron Sanchez is going to come back out and try and pull out a successful drive on the Atrisco Heritage 47-yard line. 2 receivers out to the left side, 1 man accompanying Sanchez. He's going to hand it off. And short gain of 2 yards by number 41, Johnny Gutierrez for the Knights.
By number 88, Joseph Gutierrez. Gain of 2 on the play brings up 2nd and 8 for the Knights at the 45-yard line.
Let's see Coach Valise's confidence in letting Sanchez air it out after the errant pick on the last drive.
Sanchez is going to take it. Another handoff to Gutierrez, who's going to muscle forward. Cameron, no easy yards being gained here on the ground game. Both have very, very physical defenses who are not afraid to sit the back down.
That's right. I think we're going to have a little bit of a battle in the trenches style football game tonight, which I like. That's exciting and bringing back to the old days.
3rd and 5 for the Knights. Sanchez drops back, looks out to his left side, airs it out, and it is nearly intercepted. Almost by number 27 for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, Neil Smith. Cameron, I think Aaron Sanchez was having a flashback of that play a couple minutes ago.
Well, you know, the right tackle for the Knights, number 60, Israel Flores, who was he plays a little bit of everything on the offensive line, but he lined up at tackle on that play. Totally whiffed, and the senior let a defensive player for the Jaguars get right by him who almost rocked Sanchez, and that's why he had to make that decision quickly.
Yeah, exactly. 4th and 5th, and Sanchez is going to go for it. Play action pass out to the left side. It is just a bit too high for the receiver. Intended for number 5, Brandon Valise. Cameron, now that will give the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars back the ball at their own 42-yard line.
Max, I don't know about you, but I feel like the entire part of this first quarter, although we're only 7 minutes and 59 seconds in, has been played in between the 40-yard lines.
Yep.
With the exception of an interception downfield thrown by Aaron Sanchez a couple minutes ago. It's pretty much stayed the same here with unsuccessful running plays, unsuccessful passing plays, and then ultimately unsuccessful 4th down conversion attempts.
Cameron, a rather bland, mistake-ridden, turnover-ridden first quarter. Now number 7, the back, Angel Ramirez is tripped up for a gain of 2 yards on the play after it's pitched out to him by Michael Alvidrez.
Once again, Max, you saw the example of number 24, Monroe Young, the safety who has offers to pretty much every school in New Mexico, the Air Force Academy, and then, of course, UTEP. Great open field tackle there by Monroe Young.
Two backs. Alvidra is going to hand it off to the first. Actually, it's going to be a quarterback keeper. He's going, got the first down. He's at the 40-yard line. He will be sat down at the Onate High School 35-yard line. And they are taking it to the Knights.
There's a little bit of spark of inspiration for the Atrisco Jaguar offense that could be helpful for the rest of this drive.
3:23 left to go in the first quarter. First and 10 after that design quarterback run by Alvidrez on the Onate High School 35-yard line. Two receivers out, two backs. Hands it off to the first. And that will be a solid gain of 8 yards, courtesy of number 2, the back, Antonio Gonzalez, for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars.
A great bruising run by Antonio Gonzalez there. It brings up a 2nd and 3, which is a great position for your team to be in, especially when you're driving on Onate inside their 30-yard line.
2:49 left to go in the first quarter. Onate Knights 0, Atrisco Heritage Jaguars 0. They have the ball 2nd and 3rd on the Onate High School 28-yard line. Alvidra is going to take it. However, I do believe that was a false start by Atrisco.
I think it might have been an offsides, Max. Let's see what the call is.
Certainly a possibility. You're right, Cameron. That is going to be an offside on the Knights. And that is going to take it down to the Onate Knight 23-yard line and give Atrisco another 4 downs to work with.
I believe that's the 3rd offsides penalty just in the first quarter that we've seen on the Onate Knights front 7. That has to be frustrating for you if you're a Knights fan or supporter.
Exactly. Costly penalties and just unfortunate turnovers on both sides, Cameron. This has not been a very professional-looking team so far. 2:18 left to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10, Jaguars. Alvidra is going to take it with the handoff. Number 7 is going to push forward for an Atrisco Heritage touchdown. Angel Ramirez puts 6 on the board and strikes first. Onate Knights 0, Jaguars 6.
A great play there by the Jaguars, Max. The offensive line essentially parted the Red Sea. I guess it would be considered the black and blue and whatever their colors are. Silver, I guess it must be.
That sounds good to me.
That color combination of a sea there. A great play by the offensive line to get to the 2nd level and block out those linebackers, and then get to the 3rd level and block out the defensive backfield in order to create room for a touchdown for number 7.
Definitely. Now, Atrisco Heritage is going to try and put one through the uprights and make it Jaguars 7, Knights 0. Number 87 kicking for the Jaguars. He puts it through, and that is good. That will make it Atrisco Heritage Jaguars 7, Onate Knights 0 with 2:05 left to go in the first quarter, Cameron.
Jaguars 7, Knights 0.
All right. Now, the Onate offensive line is going to have to do a better job making sure that they give Aaron Sanchez enough time because, Cameron, he's not necessarily used to this environment. He primarily, his job was just to hand it off to Matthew Young and Josiah Fielder last year, but now he's going to be put under more pressure, and we've seen that with the overthrown passes.
That's a very interesting analysis, Max. We saw in the last drive the right guard and the right tackle whiff on a couple of plays. You certainly can't have that if you want to set up this new spread offense, throw the ball downfield type of style for your team. You have to give your quarterback, as you said, ample opportunity to make a good decision and complete the ball downfield.
Exactly. 2:05 left to go in the first quarter. Atrisco Heritage kicking off. Then with 7 on the board, and the Onate Knights zip.
We'll see if they try the squib kick again like they did to open the game.
Possibility. Oh, it's caught directly by the Onate returner, but he is sat down short just at the Onate High School 41-yard line. Carried by number 8 for the Onate High School Knights, Joey Melenda. That was set up 1st and 10 for the Onate Knights at their own 41-yard line.
Max, a good heads-up play by the Upman, number 8, Joey Melinda Jr. If I were him standing and I had a ball flying at me like that, I probably would have ducked. and let one of my teammates get it, but he was able to secure that quickly and sets up good field position. Having the ball to start out on the 41-yard line, any offensive coordinator would be happy about that.
Quarterback keeper, number 24, Monroe Young. Right down in the backfield by number 5, Ethan Harden. Loss of 7 on the play brings up 2nd and 17 from the Knights' 34-yard line.
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, they tried to use the athleticism of Monroe Young there out of the Wildcat in order to gain some yardage on first down. However, Atrisco Heritage was not phased. I think we're going to get a false start on the right side of the Onate line.
There's going to be a false start on the play. And that may set the Onate Knights even farther. It's actually against the Jaguars. That will move them forward, Cameron. It's a nice bit more of breathing room after that costly failed run by Monroe Young.
Well, and it looked like they were going to go with the Wildcat for number 24, Monroe Young, once again, which, you know, if you're a Atrisco Heritage defender, you know where that ball's going. You know what the intention of the play is once you give the ball to a guy with that athleticism.
Exactly. Matthew Sanchez is going to keep it. Aaron Sanchez, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, that was Monroe Young with the carry. That'll bring up a 3rd and 11 after a 1-yard gain for the Knights with the Wildcat. 1:06 left to go in the first quarter.
And now they're going to go back to Aaron Sanchez and send Monroe Young out wide to the left.
There we are. Sanchez takes it, looking out to his right side. Pressure on him. Still in the box. Sends it, and it is batted away. Solid double team by number 27 for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, Neil Smith, and number 14, Julio Boroel.
A good heads-up play by number 11, the former rotating quarterback from last year, Jaden Diaz. That ball was underthrown a little bit, but he was able to adjust to it, and he played a little bit of defensive back there himself, although he was the wideout, and he was able to break up the ball from the Atrisco defender so he wouldn't make another interception.
51 seconds left to go in the first quarter. 4th and 11. Onate is going to punt. Angel Ramirez set up in the backfield for Atrisco to run it back. He's going at the 30, bobbing and weaving through out to the left side of the field, pushing forward the 40, and he'll be forced out nearly at the Onate High School 50-yard line. That will set up some great field position for the Jaguars as their offense comes back here on the field towards the end of the first quarter.
Max, throughout the entire game, we've seen a recurring theme for both offenses, and that's the fact that they've had great field position to start their drives. We haven't seen any worse field position from the 30-yard line in so far. A lot of drives have started on the 40 or 50-yard line or so, roughly, which is a great advantage for offensive coordinators on both sides. They just need to find a way to capitalize on those great advantages.
Yeah, certainly, Cameron, and this one is no exception. But if you're not coming in clutch in the red zone, then it really doesn't matter. 40 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Michael Alvidrez set up in the gun with the handoff. Pitch actually fake out to Angel Ramirez. He is going to be sat down to flag on the play. I believe that may have been an illegal holding on Onate. What do you think, Cameron?
I agree. And it's not an illegal holding. Any holding is going to be illegal out there. I think the right side of that offensive line was guilty for the hold.
35 seconds left to go in the first quarter. We'll see what the yardage situation is after the refs comes out with this call. Now it is going to be a holding on the Jaguars. However, the penalty is going to be declined.
Loss of 7 for the Jaguars.
An interesting idea there by Scott Valise to decline the penalty. I like it. why not take the 2nd and 15 instead of starting over on first down?
Alvidrez takes the handoff, pitches it out to Angel Ramirez once again, who is going to muscle forward. And he will be stopped just short of another Jaguar first down.
Watch out, Max. This kid has a little bit of a truck stick attached to him. It's almost like if you play Madden, you shift forward and you initiate the truck stick. He ran over number 13, the cornerback, Justin Gutierrez, who wasn't able to make the good open field tackle like we know number 24, Monroe Young, can.
Is going to have the whistle as the first quarter will come to an end. Score Onate Knights 0, Atrisco Heritage Jaguars 7. Now the Jaguars are going to have it back to start the second quarter off with a 3rd and 2 situation on the Onate High School 44-yard line. Pretty exciting stuff, Cameron. I mean, a lot of costly penalties on both sides, but you can kind of see both teams starting to take shape and feel each other out. We initially thought this was going to be a shootout, but looks like, there are some powerful backs down here tonight, like Angel Ramirez for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, who are definitely making things more on the ground.
No, definitely, Max. And I'm actually kind of interested to see how the rest of this quarter or the second quarter plays out because, like you said, we were expecting a shootout. We know Atrisco gave up 48 to the Monzano Monarchs last week, while Onate gave up 52 to the Cleveland Storm. But so far, defense has been the story of today's game.
Exactly. Second quarter is going to be starting up. Onate Knights 0, Atrisco Heritage Jaguars 7. Michael Alvidrez will have the ball. 3rd and 2nd on the Onate High School 44-yard line. Takes it, hands it off to number 2. Looks like he got the first down, perhaps just a bit short.
I think
number
he is
2, Antonio Gonzalez.
It's going to be 4th and less than a yard. I think you have to go for it here, Max. Use your momentum that you've gained running the ball so far in the game and try and get the first down on this coming play.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind. Alvidrez takes it, sends 21 in motion, but actually keeps it, and will have the first down. Atrisco Heritage is going to get another forward to work with. 11:21 left to go in the second quarter.
Max, I have to give you some credit. It's a little hard to see. If you execute the option very well like they're doing, the Jaguars are doing so far, it's a little hard to see who has the ball. And I know you have a little bit of vision problems there. But a good job by Michael Alvidrez to tuck it and run with it, not be afraid of some contact up the middle between the A-gaps to get the first down for his squad.
Exactly, and it seems to be working on those Onate High School D linemen, as that will bring up a 1st and 10 for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars on the Onate 41-yard line. 11:16 left to go in the second quarter. Alvidrez will take it, 2 men out to his right and 1 to his left, but he hands it off to Ramirez once again, who's going to fire forward, turns on the afterburners, bobs into the middle, 10-yard line, touchdown Atrisco Heritage High School. There is a flag on the play, Cameron. Now we'll see if this is going to bring it back. Did you catch the penalty?
I didn't. Let's see what the call is first and all. What a great run, regardless, Max, by number 7. And that's going to bring it back, unfortunately, because that was a very exciting play, and Angel Ramirez did a great job of being patient, bouncing outside, and finally finding a hole in the defense, although that hole was created illegally by the holding penalty.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for a tailback, Cameron. I mean, I believe there was another play where he got some significant yardage and it was brought back by an unfortunate penalty, courtesy of his own team. But, as long as he maintains that consistency, he's going to put points on the board no matter what. He just needs to maintain faith in himself and hope that head coach Patrick Johnson does the same. Alvidrez takes the snap, keeps it, rolls out to the right side of the field. He is under pressure, almost taken down, sends it out of the bounds. And that was a solid blitz, Cameron, that worked fantastically for Onate.
A solid blitz, but great poise and great patience by Michael Alvidrez there. He was getting pressured from the get-go on that play, but he was able to wait and wait and wait, and finally he found a wide receiver who was running to the near sideline. He knew he was going to throw it away, but he didn't want to get the intentional grounding call, and he was able to avoid that very well.
Gotcha. Very poised indeed. 10:53 left to go in the half. 2nd and 15 for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars. Alvidrez is going to take it once again. Hands it off. Number 7, Angel Ramirez, who's going to get the first down. Misses the tackle. There's a flag out.
number 7, Angel Ramirez, down to the night.
I believe that may have been a block in the back from Onate, Cameron. I'm not quite sure. What did you see?
We'll see, Max. We could have another holding penalty, which would be unfortunate if you're a Jaguars fan. But great field awareness and great patience there once again by number 7, Angel Ramirez. He was able. It is going to be a holding on the Jaguars, but he was able to wait and see what the defense would look like and gain some yards. Unfortunately, once again, as I was saying 2 minutes ago, that's going to be negated by the holding penalty.
10:44 left to go in the half. Score is 0. Onate Knights 0. Atrisco Heritage Jaguars 7. However, they are creeping into the Onate end zone. Now, Cameron, it certainly looks like Atrisco Heritage's offense is coming on top as far as this quarter goes. Now, unfortunately, some foolish mistakes by the offense has brought the ball back several times. But if they can just eliminate that, then they're certainly going to perform. Number 2, Antonio Gonzalez muscles forward. He's going to steamroll for likely another first down for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars.
This is a very persistent core of rushers that the Jaguars have. They're not afraid to keep churning after first contact, after second contact. They keep fighting, and that's been very advantageous for their team so far in this game.
10:32 left to go in the half. Onate Knights 0, Atrisco Heritage Jaguars 7. 1st and 10 for the Jaguars in the Onate High School 31-yard line. Alvidrez takes the snap, pitches it out to number 7, Angel Ramirez. He's going to have the nice stiff arm there on the defender, but unfortunately he can't break all the tackles. He's going to be pushed out of downs for no gain.
Once again, a great open field tackle by number 24, Monroe Young. I'm excited to see this kid play ball in college. I obviously hope he picks New Mexico State to unite with his brother there so he can help our Aggie defense out a bit. But you saw Ramirez shake the tackle of the first would-be defender, but Monroe Young came right in and was able to end the play.
9:50 left to go in the half. Alvidrez is going to keep it running up the left side of the field. Solid gain of 5 yards for the Jaguars.
Carries the ball down to the 28-yard line. We'll bring up 3rd and 7 for the Jaguars.
That will bring up 3rd and 7 for the Jaguars.
So, 3rd and 7, Max, but really you have to look at it as 3rd and 7, but you have another opportunity on 4th down. There's no reason why you shouldn't go for it on 4th down here, especially with the fact that a high school kicker probably isn't going to have the ability to make a 34 or a 44-yard field goal like a college kicker is going to be able to do.
Okay, well, looks like that Michael Alvidrez is going to have to toss one out. 9:25 left to go in the half. 3rd and 7 for Atrisco Heritage.
Max, you don't even really have to run it here. You're facing 3rd and 7, but if you look at it like you have 2 more attempts to gain those 7 yards, if you gain 3 yards on 3rd down, you're set up with a 4th and manageable.
Yeah, Patrick Johnson is going to definitely be pretty aggressive in this Onate defense and take some risks if he wants to put some more points on the board, because so far, although the Jaguars have put 7 on the board, it's basically been a stalemate.
I like this formation here. They're set up in the pistol, but he has 2 men right behind him, and it's a version of the option.
Alvidrez with the handoff to Antonio Gonzalez for no gain.
As I was saying, it's a version of the option that we see run by Ken Neomatalolo's teams at Navy. It's very effective. Heck, Navy beat Army, 14, 15 years in a row?
Yes, sir. Go Army. 9:01 left to go in the first half. Alvidrez set up once again. There's going to be a penalty.
And that's going to be a false start there, Max. All out of whack, all out of alignment there for the Jaguars offense. Now that sets up a 4th and 10, almost like they made no progress on the previous plays, which is going to make for an interesting call here by Coach Johnson and his offensive coordinator, because now it's not realistic to say or to guarantee that you're going to be able to gain 10 yards on the ground with the option attack when it's 4th down in your opponent's territory.
Exactly, Cameron. Looks like they're going for it. Alvidrez set up. He's going to take a run out to the right side. 3 receivers. He's going to put the brakes on and weave back in. Catch made by number 21. He's got the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Jaguars. Great job by that receiver, number 21, whose name I unfortunately don't have, but I commend him greatly. Nice hands there, Cameron.
Exactly, Max. I wish we knew this kid's name so we could give him more credit, but number 21 for the Jaguars there was able to find a seam in the defense and get to the house for an easy 6 points on that play.
That's going to make the score Jaguars 13, Knights 0 with 8:40 left to go in the half. Looking to make it 14-0. The PAT is good. All right, Cameron, the Onate Knights are down 2 touchdowns. Haven't gotten to the end zone once yet. Not exactly the first half I'm sure Scott Belize was hoping for with this new spread offense.
Max, we're sitting here in the press box, which is on the home side, the Onate side, and I'm getting a feeling of kind of disbelief by the home crowd here on the homecoming night of the football game. I don't think these Knights fans, and I certainly didn't expect the Atrisco Jaguars to come out with a 14-0 lead with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. It's time for the Knights to pick it up, find some momentum on offense, whether that be through the running game or the passing game. They need some spark to get this crowd going tonight for homecoming.
Yeah, Cameron, I think disbelief is a fantastic way to put it. I mean, after steamrolling practically every opponent last year, minus Centennial, and a couple others, I can guarantee that they're definitely not used to being down at halftime, and that very well may be the case if they don't put up some points in this next couple drives.
And, we saw last week against Cleveland, they struggled on offense, and one of those touchdowns, they only scored 22 points in the entire game. One of those touchdowns came on a special teams play.
Definitely. Now the returner is sat down inside of the Onate 35-yard line.
Kickoff return by number 33, Daniel Diaz.
That return was made by number 33, Daniel Diaz, for the Onate High School Knights.
This is going to be a great test of the leadership of the senior quarterback, Aaron Sanchez, here. As a leader, it's time that he takes his team from this 14-0 early hole and finds a spark of motivation for them for the rest of the game.
8:34 left to go in the half. Jaguars 14, Knights 0. Onate's going to have it 1st and 10 from their own 33-yard line. Sanchez takes it, drops back, looking out to his right side, sends it quick, and it is nearly intercepted. Catch bounced out of the hands of his receiver.
I want to give credit to the Onate offensive line on that play. Although it was an incompletion, Aaron Sanchez had all day to throw and was about to make a pretty stellar completion there. However, you have to hang on to the ball, especially if you get both hands on it.
Yeah, Cameron. I mean, he looks very cool in the pocket, but he's just, barely overthrowing him, and that's leading to near interception. Sanchez is going to take it on the design quarterback run. Sat down, although it looks like the Knights are going to have a 1st down on the play.
Good play, something different, something that we haven't seen thus far tonight. Typically last year when it was time for the quarterback to run the ball, number 11, Jaden Diaz, came in, and everyone in the stands, including the defense, knew what was coming.
4 receivers out to either side. Takes the handoff, design quarterback run once again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Cameron. That'll bring up another solid 8 or 9 yard gain for the Onate High School Knights.
That's right, and that's going to leave them at about 2nd and 1.5 yards there. And if I'm Scott Belize, take a shot here. Take a shot at the end zone, because if you don't make it, you still have a 3rd and very, very manageable.
Very, very true. 7:51 left to go in the half. Sanchez takes it, 4 receivers out once again. Fakes it with the handoff, number 41. Looks like Atrisco has it. They're still pushing forward. Weaves into the right, into the middle of the field, and that will put another 6 on the board for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, Cameron. Now, I couldn't quite tell. Did he scoop it right out of his hands, or did it fall on the ground first?
Max, I don't know. I didn't see the ball pop out on the ground. Did you? That's an interesting play there, but a great heads-up play by the Atrisco Heritage defensive lineman. I love lineman touchdowns. They're one of my favorite things about football. Have you heard in college football they call it the Heisman Trophy that they hand out to those big guys who score the touchdowns?
I have heard that, Cameron.
What a great play. A great heads-up play by the defensive lineman there for the Jaguars.
7:35 left to go in this half. That touchdown will make it Jaguars 20, Knights 0. Jaguars are going to put it through the uprights, making the PAT good. Jaguars 21, Onate Knights 0 with 7:35 left to go in the half.
Your score, Atrisco Heritage 21.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking right now. How do you respond? How do you react to that? That was a big slap in the face there for the entire Knights offense, especially Aaron Sanchez, who has struggled so far in the game. We did see a little bit of momentum there for him through the running game right up the middle. But other than that, you have to find something that works consistently if you're on the offense for Onate.
Yeah, exactly, Cameron. You know, it can fall out of the sky. It can be a very, very tricky design play. But as long as you have something that puts a spark in the eyes of this Onate offense, that's all it takes.
And who knows, maybe it's going to be like last week where Monroe Young was able to run the kickback. Maybe it's something of that nature, because right now, anything could help get this team going right now.
7:35 left to go in the half. Jaguars 21, Onate Knights 0. Looks like the Onate crowd, who's been quiet for most of the night, is starting to cheer up a bit. See if they have reason to. All right, now it's being run back, and the return will be sat down at just about the Onate High School 37-yard line.
Okay, Max, so once again, very good field position. You don't really hear of getting the ball on the 38, the 45-yard line like we've seen in this game. Like I said before, you have to be able to capitalize on that, take advantage of it, and move the ball into the red zone.
Exactly, Cameron. And I think certainly if Aaron Sanchez just keeps constantly pulling the trigger on these Jaguar defensive backs, they may get tired out and he may put 6 on the board, so we'll see. 7:29 left to go in the half. 1st and 10 for the Onate Knights at their own 38-yard line.
And immediately we see 3 wide at the bottom of the screen. Does that indicate pass?
Apparently not, as he's going to have the design quarterback run, Cameron.
Ball kept by number 12, Aaron
Looks like a gain of
Sanchez.
2 yards on the play.
To the 41-yard line.
That shows the level of confidence, Max, that Coach Veliz has in Aaron Sanchez. Aaron fumbled on the last drive, and that resulted in a scoop and score for 6. However, they come right out on the ensuing drive, and they give the ball back to their quarterback because he's a senior leader and they trust him.
Sanchez sends a quick screen pass out to the left side to Monroe Young, who drops it. Pass is going to be incomplete. That will set up a 3rd and 7 for the Onate High School Knights, Cameron. Now, last year, anytime that we saw a quarterback run for Onate, it was typically Aaron Sanchez's backup, whose name I can't quite remember. Do you?
Jaden Diaz, number 11, Max. He's been playing a little bit of slot wide receiver. You see him there to the bottom of your screen, lined up next to Monroe Young.
Sanchez is going to take it, drops back, under a bit of pressure, rolls out to the right side, pocket breaks down, sends it out very, very deep to Monroe Young with the catch, and he's going to be sat down just before an Onate High School touchdown. You know, Cameron, we were just talking about a spark. Do you think that's good enough?
Brings up a 1st and goal for the Onate.
I don't think he got into the end zone quite yet, Max. I think they're going to roll him down at the 1-yard line there. But great readjustment there, great improvisation by Monroe Young and his quarterback, and we saw a big arm there out of Aaron Sanchez.
6:43 left to go in the second half. Jaguars 21, Knights 0. Onate High School looking to put a touchdown up. Handoff to number 41, Johnny Gutierrez, although I believe he was sat down short of the end zone.
Taking back to the original line of scrimmage. Brings up 2nd and goal for the Knights.
You know, Cameron, they're so close to this touchdown, they may just want to run another design quarterback run.
Maybe, Max. I just want to go back to that last play. That's another demonstration of the raw talent and athleticism by Monroe Young. His original route was covered, but he kind of created something by himself and was able to set up great position for scoring for his team.
So I'm just going to take it with the handoff. Sat down once again, short of the end zone. That will bring up 3rd down.
Okay, so we're seeing, Max, that the running back attempt through the A gaps there on the interior of the offensive line aren't going to work, especially in goal line situations. Maybe it's time to swing something to the outside to try and get the first points of the night for the Knights.
You know, Cameron, I think you read in my mind. I was thinking a screen pass or something of that nature would certainly work in this situation. Looks like they're going to take a quick timeout. Onate is going to assess this. Now, they still have 2 more tries on it, Cameron. Well, I mean, they might want to go for the field goal, but I think I'd certainly go for it when you're down 3 touchdowns nearly at the end of the second quarter.
No, definitely. There's It's touchdown or bust here on this drive, especially with the big play that set them up here at the 1 yard line. You have to score because that would be so defeating morally, just for your team, just for your offense. It'd be hard to recover from that, Max.
5:33 left to go in the half. Jaguars 21, Knights 0. 3rd and 1 for Onate, as they're going to be coming out of this huddle very shortly.
So here we go. I think that was a smart timeout, Max, by Coach Valise and his offensive coordinator, just to regroup here before this critical series of plays. Or maybe, who knows, maybe they punch it in on here on this play. I'm looking out right now, and it looks like that ball is on the 6-inch line.
Very, very close, Cameron. Now out to the left side, we have receivers, number 4, Jared Rico, and number 6, whose name I don't quite have. Oh, no, I think that is number 5, Brandon Valise. Sanchez is going to take the snap, fakes the handoff, design quarterback run. It will be a touchdown for the Onate Knights. That will make it Onate 6, the Jaguars 21 with 5:28 left to go in this half.
There they are, Max. Now the crowd's coming to life. The student section's starting to get back into it, and that's the spark that they needed, starting with the big downfield connection from Aaron Sanchez to Monroe Young. That is going to bring the Knights back into this football game.
Accurate, Cameron. Looks like their homecoming game is starting to shape up slightly better than it had been looking earlier on. Knights looking to make the PAT and have 7 on their side of the scoreboard.
A left-footed kicker here. That kind of throws me off a bit.
PAT is good. The Onate Knights kicker. And that was by Jared Rico, and it will set up 7. Onate Knights 7, Jaguars 21 with 5:28 left to go in the second quarter.
So if you're the Onate Knights defense, Max, you have to do your counter or your teammates on offensive favor here, and you have to stop them here. Maybe even on a 3rd and out possession series, because, you know, in order to win a football game, you have to be firing on all cylinders, on all sides of the ball, even special teams. And so far, the offense has shown just by that last drive that they are capable of moving the ball and scoring on this Jaguar defense. Now it's time for the Onate defense to show that they can put a stop to it.
Well, Atrisco Heritage, you know, their quarterback, Michael Alvidrez, and their primary tailback, Angel Ramirez, are fantastic when it comes to the ground game, but there have been several fumbled handoffs. So I think if the front 7 can put pressure on them and sort of take advantage of their kryptonite, if you'll call it, then that could certainly bring up some opportunistic situations for the Knights. 5:28 left to go in the second half. Jaguars 21, Knights 7. High kick down the middle. And that will set up a touchback for Atrisco Heritage. They'll have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Jared Rico has a bit of a leg on him, Max. You don't often see touchbacks called, especially that deep into the end zone on kickoffs in high school football, especially in Las Cruces. But that kid has a great leg. Like I said, the left-footed kicker, that always throws me off a bit. But that was interesting to see right there.
Exactly, Cameron. He's obviously a fantastic asset to this Onate High School special teams. 5:28 left to go in the half. Jaguars 21, Knights 7. Jaguars going to take the ball. Alvidrez with the handoff to number 2, Antonio Gonzalez, who's going to power forward for a gain of 7 yards on the play.
Good production, Max. That's good production there. 6 yards on 1st down sets your offense up with a 2nd and 4. That's very respectable. There's nothing wrong with just nickel and diming it down the field.
Absolutely not, Cameron. I mean, it's those just short little jabs that add up to efficiency, which add up to touchdowns. Alvidrez with the handoff once again. I believe there's a flag down there, Cameron.
And we'll see what the call is. The Jaguar coaching staff got pretty excited down there. Obviously, they have a better vantage point than we do.
Face mask, Knights.
Now that is going to be a face mask on the Onate Knights.
Not what you want to see if you're a Knights fan. You want your defense to be able to shut them down on this drive. They cannot be making those mistakes, those costly errors. 15 yards could provide a good spark to an offense on a series.
Exactly. Alvidrez with the handoff once again. It's running back number 7, Angel Ramirez, who bounces out to the left side. He's at the 40, he's at the 30, turns on the afterburners, the 20, the 10, and who will be brought down just short of the end zone. I thought I detected. Yeah, Cameron, that is going to be a holding call.
Once again, Max, that's the third time we've seen tonight. Obviously, we don't know exactly what the call is here, that we've seen a holding penalty negate just a great crafty run by number 7, Ramirez. This kid has great traits to him as a runner. He can bounce out. He can read the defense very well. He's got great awareness. But none of that can pay off tonight due to the costly mistakes made by his teammates on the offensive line.
4:45 left to go in the first half. 21 Jaguars, 7 Knights.
Holding against the Jaguars.
Yeah, that is going to be a holding call against the Jaguars. It was just officially announced by the PA. And it will bring that Angel Ramirez run back. Now, Cameron, I mean, this kid has had fantastic productivity, but it's not going to be shown on the stat sheet because they keep getting brought back. Very, very unfortunate. This will bring up a 1st and 3 for the Jaguars.
Max, if they can find a way to be disciplined on the offensive line and not commit those costly errors, we'd be talking about a completely different scoreboard right now.
Alvidrez takes it. A handoff once again to number 2. Antonio Gonzalez is going to take the same path as number 7, but will be shopped just short of the Onate High School 15-yard line. And there is another flag down on the play.
And this time it wasn't Ramirez who was possibly stripped by his team. It was number 2, the fullback. The fullback, Antonio Gonzalez, on the play.
Now, Cameron, this has been an unfortunately reoccurring situation for the Atrisco Heritage High School Jaguars. They need more discipline.
If you're an Atrisco fan, or especially if you're the Atrisco head coach, Patrick Johnson, you have to be absolutely irate by those holding calls because, like I said, we'd be talking about a totally different game situation if those 4 holding calls were up to 4 holding calls already in this game that have negated great runs by the offensive backfield.
Exactly, Cameron. And giving Scott Belize a ton of breathing room to come back from this 2-touchdown deficit. Alvidrez takes it. Play action pass out to the right side of the field, deep to number 21, and it is overthrown.
Pass from Michael Alvidrez, incomplete.
It's going to be incomplete, and it will set up a 2nd and 7 for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars.
Max, I think number 21, who still has not been named to us tonight, he's already scored 2 touchdowns. Might have lost the ball in the lights of the Field of Dreams there. It was a great ball by number 10, Michael Alvidrez, and number 21, it's kind of weird not announcing his name, had a great run on it. He just lost it in the lights there.
Alvidrez takes a pitch outside to Angel Ramirez. Ramirez, nice stiff arm. Misses the tackle once again. He's going to be brought out of bounds with a 1st down for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars.
Brought down by number 52, Justin Belize.
And he was jotted down by Onate High School's number 52, Justin Belize.
Result of the play brings up a 1st
What a
down.
workhorse, man. What a workhorse number 7 Ramirez is. That kid brushed off 3 or 4 tackles en route to gaining his team another 1st down. Great effort, great persistence there by the runner.
Definitely, Cameron. Great physicality, not only great technique. I mean, he's demonstrated a spectacular stiff arm, which has gotten him some solid extra yards. Alvidrez is going to take it. Handoff once again to Angel Ramirez. Going to bounce out to the left side of the field. Still running forward. Turns on flag out on the play, and he is sat down 2 yards short of a 1st down.
Penalty flag on the play.
3:36 left to go in the half. Jaguars 21, Knights 7.
That horizontal shift that kid possesses is something special, man. He can jump 3 yards to the left, 3 yards to the right on any command. However, it doesn't mean anything. It's for nothing. It's Pyrrhic because his team cannot seem to learn the rules of football when it comes to grabbing onto the jersey outside of the numbers.
Result of the penalty will take the ball back to the
Yeah, you know, Cameron, these are some fantastic full-on tailbacks for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, but your offense has to work as one cohesive unit, and when not everybody's not on the same page and you're making these costly penalties, just things aren't going to work out, obviously. Alvidrez with the handoff to number 2, Antonio Gonzalez. He'll be brought down just short of an Atrisco 1st down.
And there we have it, Max. There was a good, sound, disciplined play by the entire 11 players on the offensive squad for the Jaguars. They finally pulled their head out of the gutters. If they were able to do that on the last 5 holding penalties, like I said, we'd be talking about a completely different story here.
Well, better late than never, I suppose. 3 minutes left to go in the half. Alvidrez sends it quick out to the right side. I believe it was intended for number 21, but the pass is incomplete.
I like the call there, Max. I like the call there by Patrick Johnson. Coach Johnson knew that he had 2nd and 2. He decided to take a shot downfield on the streak out to number 21, who's been pretty successful tonight. And even though it wasn't successful, it established a little bit of throwing motion there for Alvidrez, and it sets him up with a 3rd advantage.
3rd and 2 on the Onate High School 33-yard line. Alvidrez, quarterback keeper once again. Looks like he will be stopped just short of an Atrisco Heritage first down. They're barely creeping up, and it will set up a 4th and inches situation for the Jaguars.
4th and 1 down there, Max. You have to go for it. You know you have a very talented backfield that's been pretty successful thus far this evening. Why not go for it?
Alvidrez takes the snap, handoff once again, like we were saying, to number 2, Antonio Gonzalez, and that will bring up another 4 downs for Atrisco. Cameron, they're creeping up into Onate red zone. Let's see if they can punch in another 6 with 2:22 left to go in the half. Certainly wouldn't surprise me. Pitch out to number 7, Angel Ramirez. He's going to fire up to the right side and be pushed out at the Onate High School 15.
You know, you have to give credit to the offensive coaching staff for Atrisco Heritage. They know they have a good read on this defense, meaning that they scouted them very well the past week. They understood that just when they had gotten comfortable with running it in between the tackles, they needed to pitch it out because Onate would eventually get a read on it.
Very, very creative offensive coordinators and coaching staff over there at Atrisco Heritage High School, Cameron. Now, Cameron, typically high school teams, at least we've seen in our experience, if they do have a back in the backfield along with the quarterback, usually it's just one, but they seem to be very fond of having both a full and a tailback accompanying number 10, Michael Alvidrez, and it's certainly producing for them.
Bit of a pro-style, an old-school pro-style offense, not quite the same triple option attack that we saw under Brent Jaquez, a triple option that mirrored more Paul Johnson's teams at Georgia Tech. But pretty successful. It's a more modern and updated version of that triple option attack and is obviously working very well thus far.
I'd have to agree. 1:55 left to go in the half here at the Field of Dreams. Jaguars 21, Knights 7. Pitched out to number 7, Angel Ramirez. He is sat down for no gain on the play.
With 1:42 left in the half, Max, it would be a wonderful statement for the Atrisco Jaguars if they're able to punch it in before halftime, but at the same time, it'd be a great statement for the Knights defense to make before they head into the locker room.
Alvidrez takes in the shotgun, actually pitches out to 7. Angel Ramirez sends it out to number 21. Looks like he is going to be stopped just short of a touchdown. Nice little trick play there, Cameron. Looks like number 7, Angel Ramirez, not only can steamroll through defenders on the ground game, but has a bit of an arm as well.
Definitely, and that speaks to the creative capabilities of this offensive coaching staff, because just when they thought that the Knights could get a read on them through the ground game, whether it be inside or outside of the tackle box, they decided to air it out. If Alvidrez was able to put a little bit more air on the ball, that would have been 6 points, but that doesn't really matter because it's 1st and goal from the 1.
1:17 left to go in this first half with the clock winding down. Peter's going to take the ball. There's going to be a flag out on the play. Jaguars 21, Knights 7. There's going to be an offside on the Onate Knights. They move the Jaguars inside of the 1-yard line, even closer than they initially were to begin.
I'd be interested to see a stat sheet, Max, of how many penalties have been called in this game. I feel like for Onate, it's been nothing but offsides calls, throwing a face mask or two. And with the Jaguars, we saw earlier on this drive, they could not figure out how to stop getting those holding penalties.
Alvidrez with the handoff to number 21, the receiver, who's going to put it in. That'll put 6 on the board. Well, another 6 on the board, I should say, for the Atrisco High School Jaguars. Making the score, Atrisco High 27, Knights 7, with 1:11 left to go in this half. Now, Cameron, imagine you're Scott Valise coming into this locker room. What are the primary adjustments that you want to make for your team?
Max, it all starts with the defense. Your front 7 has to be able to contain this option attack of the Jaguars. And then, of course, with your offense, you have to find a way to move the ball, which they did do so with the connection from Aaron Sanchez to Monroe Young on the last drive. But it has to be more consistent. It's inexcusable to put up 7 points in one half.
PAT is good, making the score Atrisco Heritage Academy Jaguars 28, Knights 7, with 1:11 left to go in the first half.
Max, if I'm Scott Valise here on this drive, 1:11 with 1 timeout, that's a good amount of time, especially if you know that you can establish the connection between your quarterback, who has a big arm. I didn't realize how big of an arm he had, and your downfield wide receivers. Why not take a couple of shots here to end the half? It's all obviously going to depend on the field position, but so far tonight we've seen that Atrisco can't kick the ball past the 35-yard line.
Yeah, of course, Karen. Now, we've seen that Aaron Sanchez does have a pretty solid arm, but he struggles with medium and short-range passing, which is going to be a solid 75% of, all of the shots that you take downfield. So we'll see. Jaguars 28, Knights 7, 1:11 left to go. Atrisco Heritage kicking off here. Short kick out the middle. Turner coming up the left side, tries to weave back in. Still pushing forward, not giving up. Powers through. Ball is pushed out, but he was down beforehand. That kickoff return was by number 33 for the Onate High School Knights, Daniel Diaz.
Great job there by Danny Diaz to keep fighting and hold on to the ball. Although that did take 11 seconds off of the clock there, which is going to put him in a little bit of a different story. 11 seconds, it might not appear to be, but it is a long time, especially at the end of quarters or halves.
1 minute left to go in this first half here in the Field of Dreams. Atrisco Heritage Academy Jaguars 28, Onate Knights 7. 1st and 10 for Onate. Sanchez is going to take a drop and back, pressure on him, sends it out to the left side. Pass was initially intended for number 41, Johnny Gutierrez, and nearly batted down by Atrisco Heritage, number 88, Joseph Gutierrez.
They tried with the option there. Obviously, it was designed for those defenders to get into the backfield in order to free up room for those linemen to block at the second level. However, it was unsuccessful.
Exactly. Empty backfield. Aaron Sanchez breaks out of the pocket, rolls out to the right side. Pressure on him, sends it out to the receiver. He's going to catch it for a first down, be pushed out of bounds, Cameron. Picture perfect, the kind of thing that you want to happen when you have this little time left in the first quarter. Just send quick passes out, pick up first downs, get your guy out of bounds, and keep moving forward. Great
athletic display by Aaron Sanchez. Great readjustment after number 60, the right tackle, Israel Flores, got beat right away.
Well, Sanchez has 4 receivers out. He's going to drop back, looking out to his left side. Has all day. Sends out 24, Monroe Young. He's trying to juke out the receivers and send out of bounds for another Onate High School first down. 37 seconds left to go in the first half. Jaguars 28, Knights 7.
So automatically you move the ball 30 yards in about 23 seconds. That's pretty good for an offense. And now you're going to be set up with the opportunity to take a couple of shots at the end zone prior to halftime.
Sanchez taking it once again very quickly. Sends it out deep right. He's going to be caught by the receiver for another Onate High School first down, Cameron. Catch made by number 4, Jared Rico. Karen, where was this consistency the entire rest of the first half?
Max, that's what I'm thinking, but let's not worry about that right now because they're moving the ball and they only have 30 seconds to score before the whistle blows.
Definitely. Sanchez taking a looking out to his left side. Pocket breaking down, scrambles out to the right. He's going to have to push forward, tries to cut back through the inside. Flag down, but he got the first. 19 seconds left to go in the first half.
Pretty bold move by Aaron Sanchez to try and stay in bounds there to get as close to the goal line as possible rather than getting out of bounds and stopping the clock. That shows how confident he is himself as a runner, not only the confidence that Coach Valise has in him, but the personal confidence that he has. And the personal foul against the Jaguars, Max, is going to move them even closer to the goal. So now they're going to have first and goal with about 19 seconds left on the clock, and you have a lot of options here if you're Scott Veliz.
Yeah, a very advantageous situation for the Knights. This is going to set up a first and goal. Knights 3 yards until they put another 6 on the board with 19 seconds left to go in the first half. Sends a man in motion. Sanchez rolling out to the left side. Looks like he's going to try and run it into the end zone, and he is stopped just short of another Knight touchdown.
Down to the 1 yard line, and they're going to use that also valuable, ever so valuable timeout there. Now 4 seconds left. You have 1 yard to go in order to make a statement before heading into the locker room. And what a great exclamation point it would be for the Knights in order to take that confidence into the locker room and have something to build off of going into the third quarter.
4 seconds left to go in the first half. Knights within the 1 yard line. The Atrisco Heritage's end zone. Once again, 28 Jaguars 28, Knights 7. 4 seconds left to go in the first half. All right, Cameron, it's crunch time. They can get this in and then grab the PAT. That will bring them up to a 2-touchdown deficit behind the Jaguars.
Interesting choice, Max. They're going with the empty set here on first and goal with 4 seconds left. No help for Aaron Sanchez in the backfield if he needs it in terms of blocking.
He sends the man in motion. Sanchez going to grab it. Going up to the right side of the field. He's going to run it in, and he is stopped just short. That will end the first half of this game here at the Field of Dreams, Cameron, with a solid tackle by those Jaguar defenders on the quarterback. Score at the half on Atrisco Heritage Academy, Jaguars 28, Onate Knights 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 175-member Onate High School Wartime Regiment. The Archer Kevin Bowman and Valentino Leyva. Percussion staff are Danny Bidwell and Alberto Barajas. Color guard coaches Hannah Blacksburg. Additional staff are Sierra Medical Band Director Pete Podruchny and Camino Real Middle School Band Director Brent Phelps. Marching techs are Carlos Aragon, Jennifer Torres, and Steven Castorena. Tonight, the RKR will be performing the first half of their competition show entitled Wild Things. Part 1 is subtitled Daybreak, featuring saxophone soloists Sarah Diaz and Mark Cole. Part 2 is subtitled Safari. We hope you enjoy RKR 2017 show Wild Things. majors, Peyton Womble, Yvette Torres, and Donna Resendez. Is your band ready? You may take the field for halftime entertainment. 2017, A Night in Las Vegas Homecoming Course. The freshman lady is Crystal Cadena. Crystal is escorted by her mother, Miss Vanessa Alamillo. The freshman lord is Eduardo Medina. Eduardo is escorted by his sister, Miss Virginia Medina. The sophomore duchess is Naomi Morales. Naomi is escorted by her mom, Miss Sarah Morales. The sophomore class duke is Alex Flores. Alex is being escorted by his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Raul and Lupe Flores. The junior princess is Sky Cow. Sky is escorted by her father, Mr. David Nguyen. The junior prince is Richard Varela. Richard is escorted by his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jeremy and Monique Tejas. And now, announcing the 2017 Onate High School Homecoming King and Queen. The homecoming queen is Pilar Dory. Pilar is escorted by her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Shane and Lorraine Dory. Please welcome back visiting Atrisco Heritage Jaguars. Las Cruces Public School Athletics would like to extend its sincere thanks to Las Cruces Orthopedic Associates for their continued support of our athletic programs. Doctors Michael McGuire, Dan Romanelli, Paul Size, David Barrera, and Michael Hammerin are the primary providers for orthopedic health care and event coverage for the athletes of Centennial, Las Cruces, Onate, and Mayfield. Thank you for putting our student athletes first. Football fans, don't forget to get your 50-50 raffle tickets and programs. Inside one of the programs is a signature from one of your own Onate Knights. Once you get that signature, please take it to the Northwest merchandise table to claim your prize. Knights will be heating on to the second half. Atrisco will be taking on the reigning North End Zone.
All right. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? About to kick off this second half here at the Field of Dreams, where the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars are up 28 over the Onate High School Knights, Cameron. Now, a very eventful first half. Lots of costly mistakes on both sides of the field. However, obviously, the Jaguars came out victorious with a 21-point lead over the Knights.
This is going to be a defining drive, Max. This is going to be critical for the rest of this game. This outcome will determine how much emotion and how much firepower the Knights play with.
Exactly. The tone has to be set. Now, number 11 running this back for the Jaguars. And he will be sat down just short of their own 30-yard line. That was number 11, Jordan Marquez, the running back.
Speaking to my earlier point, Max, if the Knights can shut them down and give the ball back to their offense, and if the offense is able to find momentum, we're talking about a whole different second half compared to our first half. But if the Atrisco Heritage ground game led by Gonzalez and Ramirez keeps up, then the Knights could be in for a long second half.
Certainly, Cameron, as long as the O-line doesn't make any more costly penalties that brought them back several times. Sends it out far left, but the pass is incomplete. Alvidrez sent that out. Quarterback for Atrisco Heritage, if you're just tuning in with us. 11:47 left to go in this third quarter. Jaguars 28, Knights 7.
You know, an interesting call there, Max, to gun it out on the first play of the second half. That shows how much confidence that Coach Johnson has in his team and his offense in their ability to produce and move the ball well against this Knights defense.
Certainly, Cameron. Pressure, pressure, pressure has got to be the key word for this Onate front seven if they want to shut Atrisco down. Once again, Alvidrez set up with two men accompanying him in the backfield. Two receivers out to his right side as well. He's going to take it, fakes the handoff, design quarterback run. He's pushing forward at the 40-yard line, still going. He will be sat down 5 yards inside of Onate High School territory, and that will bring up a first down for the Knights. Or the Jaguars, my apologies.
Max, I don't know where this Onate Knights defense would be without the play of their star player in the defensive backfield, Monroe Young. He has made so many critical open field tackles tonight. It's amazing.
I couldn't agree more. Alvidrez with the handoff. 3-yard gain on the run by Antonio Gonzalez.
And you know, it looks like Monroe Young's getting a little shaken up there, and I can see why he's having to make all those big critical open field tackles.
Exactly, Cameron. His other defenders, both in the secondary and the front seven, are going to have to help him out. Pitch out to the right side to number 1. Flag out on the play. Number 7, I'm sorry about that. Looks like that's going to be a holding call. Still nice run by Angel Ramirez. That is going to be a holding call in Atrisco Heritage High School. Once again, Cameron, a fantastic run. Well, not a fantastic, but a solid run made by their running back, Angel Ramirez, is negated once again due to some unfortunate mistakes.
I've been keeping track, Max, of those holding calls that negate good runs. That's time number 6. This offensive line of Atrisco owes Angel Ramirez a gift because he's been producing well. He's been doing his job all night long, and the O-line's not holding up their end of the bargain.
Alvidrez takes it, and the pistol hands it off to number 2, Antonio Gonzalez.
And you saw the quarterback. Max, you saw the quarterback after that flag was thrown. The second it came from the referee's belt, Michael Alvidrez knew what the call would be, and once again it was another holding. You saw the displeasure and the anger come out of the quarterback, and it makes sense to have the same penalty called on your team 6 times in one night. That's got to be aggravating.
Saw a lack of discipline. Alvidrez takes in the pro set, pitches it off to the left side. Number 7, Angel Ramirez is going to run it up. He's at the 30-yard line, breaks loose. He's at the 20. He's at the 10 and will be pushed out. Just sort of another Jaguar touchdown, Cameron. And now with no penalty, luckily for the Jaguars, that'll set up a 1st and 10 inside of the Onate red zone.
Definitely a great play there by Ramirez. A good job of execution and discipline by the offensive line of the Jaguars. But did you see that tackle made by number 24, Monroe Young? That kid is a hard hitter. He looks like a lot like his dad did when he played in the pros.
Certainly, Cameron. All those offers he has coming his way are for a good reason, both offensively and defensively. 10 minutes left to go in this 3rd quarter here. Alvidrez takes the snap, hands it off. Looks like the back. I'm not quite sure who it is. We'll muscle it in another couple yards. That was another handoff to number 7, Angel Ramirez. Now, Karen, we were talking earlier. This number 7, Angel Ramirez, the tailback, he is very, very talented. Not only is he agile, but he knows how to steamroll through defenders. Now that was a handoff to number 2, Antonio Gonzalez, the secondary back. And he is going to be stopped again just short of a Jaguar touchdown. Max,
a solid effort there by the interior of the Onate defensive line in that linebacking core of shutting them down thus far on their 1st and goal and 2nd and goal attempts. Let's see if they can hold strong for 3rd and goal in this play.
9:10 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 3rd and goal here for the Onate Jaguars. Or no, sorry, the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars. My apologies. Another handoff, and that will be good for a Jaguar touchdown. This will make the score Jaguars 34, Knights 7 with 9 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. A very solid statement made here by the Jaguars, Cameron. And it looks like Monroe Young is trying to carry the entire Onate defense on his arms and being rather unsuccessful.
You're exactly right, Max. A very solid, great opening statement to start out this 2nd half for the Jaguars. And Monroe Young, I feel for the guy, man. It's been pretty much him versus the 11 players on the Atrisco Jaguars offense tonight.
Now that PAT is going to be made following the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars' 5th touchdown of the night. Now Onate is officially down by a 28-point lead, Cameron. Not a position they want to be in.
You know, we saw the Onate Knights move the ball very well on their last drive. They got the ball back with a minute left from their own 35-yard line. They were able to move it pretty well down to the 1-yard line, but to no avail. They weren't able to punch it in. But if they can keep up with the same sort of production and consistency through the air, maybe that will be the spark that this team needs to be consistent on offense, at least through the 2nd half. But at the same time, the defense needs to find a way to utilize their talent and not just have number 24, Monroe Young, making all these big open field tackles.
Yeah, exactly, Cameron. On the offensive side for Onate, like you were saying earlier on towards the end of the 1st half, Aaron Sanchez tried to run the ball into the end zone, was negated just short, although we saw, like you were saying, a spark which could possibly ignite their offense right now. See here. And the return for Onate going up the right side of the field. Turner is sat down at the Onate High School 30-yard line.
Kickoff return by number 18, Sam Rivera.
And that was brought back by Onate High School number 18, Samuel Rivera, the senior.
Onate takes over first and 10.
The Onate offensive line also on that last drive did a very good job of containing the pass rush and giving Aaron Sanchez enough time to throw, Max. It's critical that they do the same on this drive because Onate needs to find a way to stay in this game. A 4-touchdown deficit with 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter is a daunting uphill battle for you to face as an offense.
Yeah, Cameron, I would really, really like to see Aaron Sanchez put it in the air more and use that big, strong arm of his. It looks like he may possibly do that with 4 receivers out, but instead he's going to go for the quarterback run.
Aaron Sanchez on the
We'll
option.
get a solid 6 yards on the play with that option.
37-yard line.
7 yards, and that will set up a 2nd and 3 for the Onate High
And it's
School line.
interesting to me, Max, that we've seen the interior quarterback run between the A gaps. It's been pretty successful tonight. However, the interior run by the running back core through those A and B caps hasn't been successful at all.
Almost an identical play. Zone coverage by the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, however. Quarterback draw,
Aaron Sanchez.
and Sanchez is going to be sat down for a short
Touchdown
game.
by number 84, Jose Ramirez at the original line of scrimmage.
8:17 left to go in this third quarter.
You have to make something happen here, Max, on offense. You cannot face a 3-and-out on your first possession of the third quarter, especially after your defense gave up yet another rushing touchdown.
Yeah, Cameron, definitely not the way I'm sure Scott Villie's planned his first night of the season at the Field of Dreams going. Nice pass sent out, but not Cat. Intended for Brandon Villies.
Ball sails high, complete.
It looks like Brandon Villies got the wind knocked out of him just a bit, but he got back up. Glad to see that he is uninjured on the play. 7:56 left to go in the third quarter.
So now you have 4th and 2, and this is going to be a big roll of the dice here for Coach Release, because if you do not convert, you give the ball back to the Jaguars with excellent field position, and you run the risk of going down by not 4, but 5 touchdowns here early on in the third quarter. But if you make the 4th down conversion, you keep up with the consistency of your offense.
Once again, 4 receivers out, but Sanchez is going to elect to hand it off here. And that is negated and will result in a turnover. The Jaguars are going to have a 1st and 10. All right, Cameron, the Jaguars are going to have the ball back with some pretty fantastic field position at the Onate High School 35-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Max, I'm very, very impressed with the play of this Atrisco defense. They have playmakers for Onate. You have guys like Jaden Diaz, obviously Aaron Sanchez with the big arm and the running capabilities, but then Monroe Young and Jared Rica are lining up as wide receivers. However, they've only scored 7 points all night. That speaks to the talent level of this Atrisco Heritage defense, a team that gave up 48 points to Manzano last week. What a great turnaround from week 1 to week 2. You know, we talked to a former assistant football coach from the area here just a little while ago who told us that from his time in coaching high school football here in southern New Mexico, he believed that the most critical turnaround for a team came between week 1 and week 2, and we're seeing a great turnaround from week 1 to week 2 for the Jaguars.
Exactly. 7:48 left to go in the third quarter here, Cameron. Now the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars are going to get the ball back 1st and 10. And number 76, Tyreek Perez, hopefully I didn't butcher that name, was looking a bit shaken up on the play, but they're walking him back to the Onate High School sideline. All right, Cameron, here it is. Jaguars once again are creeping in on the Onate High School red zone. I've been saying all game they are going to have to put some pressure on that quarterback because he is very cool, calm, and collected, and has a fantastic combo of Antonio Gonzalez and Angel Ramirez behind him to substitute for his arm. It's like quarterback's going to run with it for a 1st down for the Jaguars. Michael Alvidre is going to land just inside the Onate High School 20-yard line.
One thing I'm seeing right away here in the third quarter is these boys are tired. Even with the 20-minute halftime rest period, they can't seem to fully recover from the beatings that they've taken down in the trenches. From the first level, the defensive line, the linebacking core can't seem to make any tackles, and it all comes down to the defensive backs, especially the safeties, who are responsible for wrapping up the running backs before they gain any more extra yardage.
Karen, what I'd really like to see is if Onate can help stack the box more. Perhaps they can force quarterback Michael Alvidrez of the Jaguars to throw, and if their defensive backs can step it up, maybe they can give the Jaguars a bit of a taste of their own medicine of what we saw in the first quarter and get a turnover.
That's right, Max. If you can force them out of their dimension, obviously we've seen that the Jaguars' true dimension is running. If you can force them out of running and make them pass, then you're already at an advantage there as a football team on the defensive side.
Exactly. 7:21 left to go here in the third quarter. Alvidrez is going to take it in the pistol. Quick shot out to the right side. Initially intended for number 21, but it was incomplete.
Luis Arenas, Max. Luis Arenas. Finally, we got the name of number 21, the player that we've been calling all night.
Fantastic. Glad that he can finally get some recognition, Cameron.
Max, and I think Arenas there got a little too excited. So did his quarterback, because he was so wide open there in the middle of the field. He basically had 6 points written across his forehead.
He
and
just
I think
takes it once again, the pistol as the quick turn, the handoff. Looks like the ball is fumbled, and Onate perhaps may have it back.
The ball popped out, but I think...
And Onate High School is going to have the ball back, and they will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Cameron, we were talking about a possible turnover earlier on, not exactly the way we had expected it to take place, but still, I mean, advantageous for the Knights.
Oh, absolutely, Max. And great tenacity there by the Onate defensive players. Immediately when the ball was fumbled, an Atrisco player pounced for it, but they went for it in the bottom of the dog pile, and they were able to get the ball back to their offense. But now it is time to capitalize. It is crucial that you capitalize to keep your team in this game, or else it's going to be a long remaining 19 minutes.
Yeah, Cameron, Aaron Sanchez is going to have to show a bit of the skill level that he was showing in that last minute of the first half. Sends a man in motion, fakes it off, play action pass off the left side. It is sent off to Monroe Young, who is going to power through. And that will be a solid gain of 8 yards for the Onate High School Knights. He was brought down by number 8, Rayshawn Moore of the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars. Once again, Aaron Sanchez, 4 receivers, 1 man accompanying him. He's going to keep it. Quarterback pushes through for an Onate High School first down, Cameron. I initially thought he was going to get sat down, Cameron, but he just, really muscled forward through that A-gap and got the first.
Max Sanchez is a surprisingly good runner down there. His body type doesn't look like a typical dual-threat quarterback, but he sure is.
There's a quick pass out to his right side. Receiver catches it, probably put the brakes. Avoids a tackle, and he's going to have a solid 6 yards on the catch. That catch was courtesy of number 11, Jaden Diaz, the receiver. This will bring up a 2nd and 3 situation for Onate. Sanchez drops back, sends it deep out to his left side to Monroe Young. The pass is batted out of his hands by the defensive player number 27, Neil Smith. Free safety.
An interesting move there by Aaron Sanchez. First of all, great credit to the offensive line for giving him a lot of time to throw, but Aaron threw it into triple coverage there. And I think that's a testament to how much confidence he has in the raw athleticism of number 24, Monroe Young, but still, when you're going to throw it into triple coverage, expect for an incompletion to happen.
Exactly. Sanchez once again with the quarterback keeper. That will give him another 2 yards on the play, but not enough for a first. It's going to be a 4th down for the Onate High School Knights. 5:40 left to go in this third quarter here at the Field of Dreams. Jaguars 35, Knights 7 with the ball in a 1st and 1 position. Sends Diaz in motion, fakes the handoff, play action pass out to his left side of number 5, a receiver. And Brandon Veliz is going to be sat down inside of Atrisco Heritage's red zone. Spectacular play by the Knights right there. Gives him another 4.
Great job there. Great ball by Aaron Sanchez, Max. I think that was the best ball that he's thrown thus far tonight.
Hey, Cameron, I certainly would not disagree with you. That was just, very professional, and he kept his head cool. Handoff to number 4, Jared Rico. Number 41, I'm sorry about that, Johnny Gutierrez. Clock winding down, 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Still 35, Jaguars 35, Knights 7. Sanchez looking out to his right side, sends it quick for the first down. And the pass was complete to number 4, Jared Rico, the wide receiver.
We're seeing a nice, diverse drive here being ran by the Onate coaching staff. A little bit of runs, a little bit of passes. Looks pretty good.
Sanchez is going to take the snap in the shotgun, looking out to his left side at 3 different receivers, and it is nearly intercepted once again by the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars. Broken up by number 12, Letterance Robinson.
You have to be careful there, Max. That ball was almost picked off, and who knows, that man could have been streaking down the field by now. Aaron Sanchez needs to be a little bit more cognizant of what's going on around him and try and avoid throwing into double cover.
Practically an identical play. Sanchez rolling out to the left side of the field. Crockett broken down under pressure. And the catch is made. Gets it out quick to number 5, Brandon Veliz. Although, Cameron, I do believe there is going to be a face mask on the play, which could negate that holding call on the play. I'm sorry about that. And it's going to be negating the touchdown, Cameron.
And that's unfortunate because that was a great play made by the receiver Veliz out there. A good job of Aaron Sanchez rolling out of the pressure in the pocket. However, he was only able to roll out of the pressure because his player, one of his teammates, made an illegal move and holding onto the jersey of one of the defenders.
Yeah, certainly, Cameron, like you were saying, although that play was negated and the Knights still are down 28 points to the Jaguars, we're starting to see Sanchez be more consistent in the passing game, which may not catch them the dub this week, but it certainly is a good sign for the future.
Catch them the dub, Max. I like that phrase.
4:35 left to go in the third quarter. Aaron Sanchez taking the shotgun. Drops back, pocket breaking down, and he is going to be sacked for a loss. And he is tackled by number 5, Ethan Harden, the linebacker.
And that's when those holding penalties get you in trouble. It's not right after the holding foul is committed. It's a couple plays later when your offense isn't able to gain many yards, when you're faced with a 3rd and 23 compared to a 3rd and 13. It makes a world of a difference.
4:08 left to go in this third quarter. Once again, Sanchez breaking down pressure on him. Defensive player number 44 sends it out deep to the middle and nearly intercepted once again, Cameron. That time almost by number 27, Neil Smith, the free safety.
Max, I think we need to put some more stickum on those gloves out there for the defensive backfield of the Jaguars because they can't seem to haul in. I believe that's the 3rd easy interception that could have been made that was dropped by the Jaguars defensive backs.
I do believe you're right, Cameron. Even more so than that, Aaron Sanchez needs to pay more attention like he has been in the last couple plays with where he's sending the ball out. If you have to throw it out of bounds, I understand that, but still, it's not worth an interception. Now it looks like Scott Veliz is going to take the timeout. 3:59 left to go in the third quarter here. Jaguars 35, Knights 7. This will be a 4th and 23 for the Onate High School Knights, Cameron.
No doubt that you have to go for it here, Max. Although 4th and 23, the likelihood of you converting isn't great. But even if you don't, you give the ball back to the Jaguars in, relatively reasonable field position, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. And obviously, you need to exhaust every option here with 16 minutes left in the game in order to get your team some points.
Definitely, Cameron. But we saw earlier in the second quarter, when Aaron Sanchez is under pressure, he does have a tendency to make clutch passes pretty far downfield, and we'll see if that will still hold true on this play. Once again, 3:59 left to go in the third quarter. Jaguars 35, Knights 7. The offense coming back onto the field here, trying to convert on a 4th and 23 on the Jaguar 27-yard line. Now Sanchez has 4 receivers out, trying to get a man off the field real quickly before they're penalized. Empty backfield for Sanchez, going to take it, Pretty solid blitz off the left side. He's going to send it far down to the left, and it is nearly intercepted once again by number 27, Neil Smith. Pass was broken up, intended for Monroe Young in the end zone.
Once again, Max, an easy interception for a defensive back for the Jaguars was dropped, and that almost led to Monroe Young using his talent to reel it back in for a touchdown. However, that did not happen, and the Jaguars are going to get the ball back on their own 27-yard line.
3:53 left to go in the third quarter. Jaguars 35, Knights 7. They're going to have the ball back after that failure to convert on 4th and 23 by the Knights. Michael Alvidrez is going to take it, handoff. Number 7, Angel Ramirez, is going to be pushed out of bounds for a loss of yards.
Nice heads-up play by the Onate front 7, and it makes sense that they would get used to the consistency of Ramirez's runs there on the outside, especially to the left side of his offensive line.
3:27 left to go here in the third quarter. After Ramirez is pushed out for that loss, it's going to set up a 2nd and 12. Michael Alvidrez takes it with 2 men in the backfield. Hands off pitch out to Ramirez. He's going to run up the right side. Still steamrolling his way down there for an Atrisco Heritage first down. And Cameron, I'm sure he's relieved to see that his nice run has not been negated by a flag.
Max, this Ramirez kid, I don't know about you, but prior to tonight, I'd never heard his name mentioned in, the statewide conversations about high school football. He's a little bit of a dark horse, but I like his playing style.
Exactly. And just so you're talking, another pitch out to Ramirez. Negates the tackle, is going to be brought down. However, there is no flag on the play.
I think we actually might have a face mask on the Knights. We'll wait to see what the call is, which would tack on an extra 15 yards to the already impressive run.
2:54 left to go here in the third quarter. Jaguars 35, Knights 7.
Face mask. Knights.
Now it is going to be a face mask on the Knights, and ref Jay Wells is telling us. Now, Cameron, it looks like the penalty bug is starting to be pushed over to the defensive side.
I mean, hey, if you're an Atrisco Jaguar, that's great news to you, especially considering the fact that 6 awesome runs by Ramirez have been negated by costly holding penalties.
2:51 left to go in the third quarter. The run is unsuccessful for a couple. Only gets a couple yards. Run courtesy of number 2, Antonio Gonzalez. That ball is going to be taken down to the Onate 25-yard line and sets up a 2nd and 7 for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars. Already up 28 points over the Knights. Looking to put another 6 on the board here at Field of Dreams. Okay, well, now we'll see here. Ramirez going out to the right side of the field, and he is stopped just 3 yards short of the end zone.
Tripped up at the 5-yard line by Jaden Diaz. Result of the play makes it 1st and goal Jaguars at the Onate 5-yard line.
Max, now would be a critical time for the defense to force another one of those turnovers like we saw early on in this quarter, because if they allow themselves to go down by 5 touchdowns heading into the fourth quarter, you can pretty much nail up this coffin.
I'd have to agree, Cameron. Alvidrez is going to keep the ball with his own quarterback keeper. Touchdown, Atrisco Heritage Academy.
Touchdown, Jaguars.
It's going to put another 6 on the board for the Jaguars, making the score 41-7. And now, Cameron, one thing I've noticed is that the Jaguars seem to be very, very fond of utilizing their 2 backs, Antonio Gonzalez and Angel Ramirez, in sort of their signature play where he fakes it off to Gonzalez and then pitches it out to number 7 to the outside. And if Onate can catch on to that and try and shut it down, I think their defense will be much more successful.
Max, I think Onate has had plenty of opportunities to catch on to that, especially with going into the locker room at halftime. And it just seems like they're not going to catch on to that, with the exception of guys like Monroe Young. And even number 13, the cornerback, Justin Gutierrez, has had a pretty solid game. But they haven't seemed to figure out a way to stop the running attack of the Atrisco Jaguars, and therefore that's why they're in a 5-touchdown hole with 14 minutes left to go in tonight's game.
1:58 left to go in the third quarter. Jaguars 41, Knights 7 after that touchdown with the quarterback keeper from number 10, Michael Alvidrez. Okay, Karen, once again, the Onate High School side of the field is being very, very quiet.
And that's kind of sad to see, Max, because they had a pretty great turnout tonight for their homecoming game. I'm sure these guys wanted to see their hometown Onate Knights bring up a victory against a team from Albuquerque. Although I will say we watched some of the band performance at halftime. That was pretty entertaining. I was glad that I got to see some of that.
Yeah, definitely, Cameron. One of the best in the state of New Mexico for sure. Now their football team, on the other hand, well, that looks like a different story.
You know, Max, and don't count out the Knights this early in the season. They still have a lot of talent there with guys like Sanchez, Diaz, and obviously Monroe Young. There are definitely some building blocks there, and it makes sense that there are going to be some struggles early on, especially if you're playing for a coach who's installing an offense that was totally foreign. It was a totally foreign concept to you coming from that triple option attack.
Yeah, fantastic observation, Cameron. It looks like while you were talking, the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars got in a 2-point conversion. That is going to make the score 43-7 Jaguars.
Wow, they went for 2 there. That might be something that Coach Veliz and his Knight squad remember when these two teams meet up next year, because they're rubbing salt on an open wound. Story time. Back in the 1960s, Ohio State was playing Michigan. Woody Hayes' squad went up 50-14 in the fourth quarter against their arch rivals, and Coach Hayes, of course, went for 2 against the Wolverines. And after the game, it was unsuccessful. The conversion was unsuccessful, and after the game, he was asked by a reporter, "Coach, why'd you go for 2?" And he told the reporter, "Well, I couldn't go for 3, so that's all I could do," basically. That was the same attitude there. They want to pour on as many points as possible here to prove the worth of their offensive capabilities.
You gotta love Woody Hayes, Cameron, a legendary coach. Now Jaguars are going to be kicking up here. Up 43-7 over the Knights with 1:58 left to go in the third quarter. Very high kick. That's something we're used to seeing from them. Now the returner will bring it up to the Onate High School 37-yard line. That was by number 41, Johnny Gutierrez.
One of the things that I'm noticing here is, although they're up by 36 points with not much time left in the third quarter, these Atrisco Jaguars are still playing with a lot of spirit and a lot of tenacity. You saw the wide receiver number 21 there, Luis Arenas, make a great tackle on the ball carrier. He's already scored a couple touchdowns tonight. That'd be cause for saying, you know what, I've had a good night. I'll pack it up until next week. But no, these kids are still working very hard, and I'm very happy to see that.
Exactly, Cameron. Still putting up numbers on the stat sheet. Now it's not over till it's over. You got to push for the entire game. Sanchez dropping back, looking out to his left side. Sends a quick pass out to Diaz, who's going to muscle forward for a gain of 8 yards on the catch. Gain of 9 on the play. That is going to bring the ball to the Onate High School 47-yard line and bring up a 2nd and 1 situation for the Knights. Once again, very obvious pass coverage here as Sanchez scoots out of the pocket, rolling out to the left side after a breaks down and sat down for a sack. Although there is a very possible, I don't think he got the first down quite, Cameron.
I don't think so, Max. I think we're going to be left with a 3rd and about maybe a yard and a half here. Never mind. They're going to go ahead and give him the forward progress there and get them a first down.
Apparently he did, Cameron. You got to give Aaron Sanchez credit. He's not afraid to run the ball, and he has fantastic vision. He understands what that pocket's breaking down when it's time to dip on out of there. Now pass sent out once again to Jaden Diaz, who's going to have a 6 yards on the play.
These are obvious teaching moments here, Max, for both coaching staffs, because in any game, any situation, whether it be a close tie game going into the fourth or a blowout like we're witnessing here, you want your players to play to their fullest potential on every snap. Give it all they got.
Absolutely. 2nd and 3. Sanchez going to be sacked once again. Although fortunately for the Knights, he's able to keep the ball in, Cameron. Now that was an unfortunate breakdown of the O-line in that sack for the Knights. And that is going to bring up the end of the third quarter. Jaguars up 43 over the Knights with 7 points on the board. However, Onate will have the ball coming back. They're going to have it 3rd and 11 on their 44-yard line. Now, Cameron, like I was saying earlier, although Sanchez was taken down, an unfortunate sack for Onate. He did a great job of pulling the ball back in and making sure he avoided a costly fumble.
Oh, absolutely, Max. And I think he was fooled there by the pass rush. At first, it looked like he was going to have ample time to make a good decision. However, that offensive line collapsed in a split second, and before he knew it, he was down on the ground.
Indeed. As we're starting up the fourth quarter here, Onate's going to have the ball 3rd and 11 at their own 49-yard line. Really creeping into Jaguar territory. Down with 7 points to the Jaguars' 43. Still a 36-point deficit. Aaron Sanchez out here with an empty backfield. All right, this is going to start the fourth quarter here at the Field of Dreams. Jaguars up 43 over the Knights with 7. 5 receivers out here, Cameron. Sanchez dropping back under pressure, sends it real quick to number 5, Brandon Valise. Now, Cameron, unfortunately, that was not enough to give Onate a first down, pretty far from it. It will set up a 4th situation. However, when you're down 36 points, you got to go for it.
Why not? And these are valuable teaching moments here, Max.
Sanchez takes it once again, drops back with 5 receivers out. Pocket breaking down, scrambles out to the left side of the field. He's going to run forward and be taken out of bounds. 4 yards short with Onate High School first down.
Coverage, 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 Max. That was a coverage stop. These receivers can't seem to create enough separation from the defensive backfield of Atrisco Heritage Academy here. And I think that's been the cause of a lot of problems tonight. These receivers can't find a way to quote-unquote burn these guys in the defensive backfield, and that's resulted in an inability to move the ball at all.
No doubt, Cameron. Like you were saying, that cause and effect series sort of takes place when if the receivers aren't doing a fantastic job of getting open, then the O-line has to work extra hard to give Sanchez as much time as possible in order to try and find an open receiver.
And, while we're taking this quick timeout here with 11 minutes left to go in the game, I'm interested to see if any backups will be put in, because while you need to recognize the fact that you have your team set up for this year, there might be those moments later on in the season or even later on in the years where you're going to rely on the underclassmen. And this is some valuable game 6A experience here under the lights in front of a large crowd, and it would be good exposure to get the young guys a little bit of playing time.
Exactly, Cameron. Got to prepare those sophomores for the day where they're eventually leading the team.
Okay, Ben, get your 50-50
11:09 left to go in the game here. Onate is going to have it 4th and 9. Down 36 points. Jaguars 43, Knights 7.
7, 5, 6, 5. You have 7 minutes to report to the merchandise table located at the northwest corner of the stadium to claim your prize.
All right, both teams getting situated now once again after that short timeout.
I do like these new uniforms that the Knights have, especially with the new helmets. However, those numbers are very hard to read with the gray on top of the black there.
Completely, Cameron. Aaron Sanchez going to be walked off the field, sorry. Looks like he got the wind knocked out of him a bit on that last play. Now Atrisco Heritage, quarterback's going to keep the ball, push forward, will be sat down very hardly. Michael Alvidrez with the 4-yard gain on the carry. 5 on the play.
Max, that was Aaron Sanchez, who was just injured and walked off the field. Hopefully he's okay. It looked like he did just get the wind knocked out of him. But if you look at what's happened to him throughout the game, he's taking a lot more hits than you would have wanted to see out of your starting quarterback, especially in a spread offense where the quarterback, in this case, is not designed to run. In some spread offenses, you do want your quarterback running a lot.
Exactly, Cameron. Now with the zone coverage. Easy pass dropped by number 21 for Atrisco Heritage. That's going to make it a 3rd and 5 after that incomplete pass for Atrisco. Jaguars still up 43 over the Knights 7 with 10-13 left to go in the game.
And now, Max, with a 36-point margin, what you really want to do here, if you're the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, is you want to run the clock out a bit. You don't want to let any of your players be susceptible to any more injuries. Just see what you can do by running the ball out and running the clock out.
9:50 left to go here in the game. That was another run by Antonio Gonzalez on the play. Looks like he's going to get 3, however, that's not enough for the first, and we'll set up 4th down for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars.
If I were Charlie Johnson here, I know it's 4th and 3 in your opponent's territory, but why not punt it away to see the ability of your punter in the case of in the future where he might need to punt it out of his own territory.
Yeah, looks like Alvidrez is going to hand it off once again. They are going to get the first down. Nice call by Patrick Johnson.
You know, that conversion was successful there. I just liked the punt for a little bit of experiential learning, getting some guys some exposure who wouldn't normally have a whole lot of it in a game like this.
Yeah, definitely, Cameron. When you put them right in the thick of things, and, you know, with this Onate team who's desperate to come back, even if they're likely not going to win the game, at least put some extra points on the board. I think Alvidrez pitches out to the left side. Number 7, Angel Ramirez, still hustling forward, and he will be sat down just sort of the Onate High School 20-yard line.
It's still working, Max. It's still working almost to perfection there. These Knights can't seem to figure out how to contain Ramirez, how to contain Gonzalez. It's been great. It's been a great productive night here by the backfield of the Jaguars.
8:28 left to go here in the 4th quarter. Pitch once again off to Angel Ramirez. There's a flag out on the play as Ramirez is sat down.
Penalty flag on the play.
Now let's see what this penalty is all about, Cameron. 8:18 left to go in the game. Jaguars 43, Knights 7.
That is the 7th holding call tonight on the Atrisco offense. Although they've opened up a pretty good beating tonight on the Knights, the one thing that's holding back all the excitement is the fact that there have been so many penalties tonight. And penalties that you can easily avoid if you just stay disciplined to the fundamentals of offensive football.
Yeah, exactly, Cameron. Now, I'm sure that's going to be focused on. It looks like the handoff is fumbled by number 3 for Atrisco Heritage, Isaiah Gomez.
So, Max, we just saw the quarterback switch there. Number 3, Isaiah Gomez, in for number 10, Michael Alvidrez, and on one of his very first plays from scrimmage, he fumbles the ball away and gives it back to the Knights, who will be looking for just a little bit of production, something that they can build off of going into next week versus Sandia.
7:41 left to go in the game. Jaguars still up 43 over the Knights 7. Now Onate High School is going to have it back now, after number 3 Isaiah Gomez fumbled the ball. Four receivers out for the Knights. One man next to the QB in the backfield. Penalty on the flag on the play. I believe it's going to be a false start for the Knights. No, it is going to be encroachment on the Jaguars.
A lot of offsides penalties tonight too, Max. Atrisco runs a 3-4 defense, so oftentimes they'll move that inside linebacker up to the line of scrimmage right before the ball's about to be snapped. That's one of the things that can happen when you have that style of defense.
And the quarterback fumbles the ball for Onate. That is going to bring them back quite a few yards.
Number 8, Joey Melenda, wrapped up in the backfield. Brought down at the 31-yard line. Brings up the 2nd and 14 for the Knights.
It looks like they brought out number 8, Joel Melenda, as QB for the Knights after Aaron Sanchez was injured on that previous play. Against an identical play, 4 receivers out, 1 man. Quarterback Melenda scrambles out to the right side, pressure on him, fumbles the ball, but he gets it back. However, a very, very costly loss of yards. That was a great tackle made by number 44, Damian Dilo Lopez for the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars.
I like the creativity of some of these names for the Atrisco Jaguars. You have Dilo Lopez. You have a guy, Jesus Purple Toe Sanchez. How about that?
I'd be very interested to see how that nickname came about, Cameron. Sounds a little ugly.
I don't know if I want to know right now.
All right, then. Melinda fumbles the snap once again. And that is going to take them back even more significantly, nearly into their own end zone.
What a comedy of errors, Max. Pretty much sums up the entire night for the Knights on offense and on defense, but their offense hasn't had the ability to move the ball pretty much, throughout the entire game. And that's very disappointing if you're a Knights fan. With the introduction of a new system, obviously that creates excitement. You start thinking that you're going to have the ability to move the ball and score in ways that you had never experienced before. However, so far this season, they've only put up a total of 29 points through 7.5 quarters.
Cameron, the term that comes to my mind is a perfect storm. I think that, a fantastic situation has been set up for Atrisco Heritage. They have a very, very productive offense led by number 10 Michael Alvidrez, and they're a two-back system. But also Onate is still trying to adapt to this new spread offense, and the Atrisco secondary just seems to be holding them off very well.
Max, we have 4th down and 41 here from the Knights' own 4-yard line. Do you think they should go for it?
Well, Cameron, I don't think they have any choice at this point. 5:38 left to go in the game. Jaguars up 43 over the Knights, 7 points. 4th and 41, like Cameron said.
4th and 41. You're not supposed to go backwards 31 yards.
No. And the punt has gone nearly straight up in the air.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
No, I don't believe it was. At this point, it looks like that entire Onate High School team is worn out and ready for this butt kicking to just be over. Clock winding down, 5:15 left to go in the game. Jaguars 43, Knights 7. After that turnover, after that punt, 1st and 10 for the Jaguars. And they'll be starting off at the Onate High School 15-yard line. See if they want to put another nail in Onate's coffin. And number 3, the quarterback, is going to pitch it out to number 11, Jordan Marquez, who's going to be running forward up the right sideline. And he is taken down just short of a Jaguar touchdown. He'll be pushed out of bounds at the 3.
It's good to see guys like Jordan Marquez and Isaiah Gomez get a little bit of playing time here, and they should get playing time. I feel like they've earned it. The team's earned it as a whole with the stellar performance that they've put on tonight.
4:26 left to go in this game. Number 3, Isaiah Gomez, takes the snap. Couldn't quite tell if he handed it off there or kept it, but either way, that's going to be another Atrisco Heritage touchdown, Cameron. Absolutely brutal. 49-7, Cameron. Jaguars' score is literally 7 times that of Onate. Absolutely spectacular. Not the turnout I had expected in the least.
Absolutely not, Max. We're expecting to see a pretty close game between two, on paper, evenly matched teams. That is not what we saw tonight.
And looking to make this PAT good and put up a solid 5-0 on the scoreboard. Now the PAT is knocked down. Onate is going to go after it. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Atrisco is going to get to 50 points, Cameron, at least not on that drive. However, still an insane margin. 42 points over the Onate Knights.
Max, I just pulled up Onate's upcoming schedule next week. It doesn't get much better. They have to play Sandia up in Albuquerque, and the week after, they come home to play Rio Rancho, the defending state champions, the #1 team in the state, on a Saturday at 1 o'clock. This team is going to be in for a rude awakening if they can't figure out how to stop the run on defense and if they can't figure out how to get things going on offense.
4:17 left to go in the game. Atrisco Heritage Academy Jaguars 49, Onate Knights 7.
Rio Rancho, a team that beat the heck out of a pretty talented Mayfield squad. Anytime Michael Bradley's team is going to take the field, automatically there's going to be an advantage just because of the type of coach he is. But that team got manhandled last week by the Rio Rancho Rams.
Absolutely, Cameron. Although I think the Rams may have a run for their money from the state runner-up last year, the Las Cruces High School Bulldogs, they have an insanely high-powered offense, as we saw last week when they took on the El Dorado Eagles. Another return from Onate. I believe that was number 3, Ara Ronquillo. Well, let's see. Now we'll set up the Knights with a 1st and 10 at their own 38-yard line.
And then, of course, Max, Onate ends their regular season on November 2nd, a Thursday night football game at Aggie Memorial Stadium. LCPS TV will be broadcasting from Aggie Memorial that night. That should be exciting.
Agree.
The first edition of our Oregon Mountain rivalry.
I agree, Cameron. There's been a lot of controversy throughout the district over the implementation of that game, although I think it's a fantastic opportunity for players of both teams to get some playing time in a Division I field.
Absolutely. And you see the crowd that Onate had tonight. I would imagine, given the opportunity that these guys get to watch a game at Aggie Memorial, I'd imagine that even more people show up.
Karen, looks like they had Jaden Diaz as quarterback there. Bit of a throwback to last season. Got 7 yards on the play. Now we'll set up a 2nd and 3 for the Onate High School Knights. 2:58 left to go here in this game at the Field of Dreams. Once again, Jaguars 49, Knights 7. Now that was a personal foul on the Jaguars, actually, that last
I believe
one.
it was a late hit. Number 23 came in like a heat-seeking missile after the whistle was blown. You can't do that.
That's going to result in a 15-yard penalty, and will give the Onate Knights another 1st and 10. 2:35 left to go here. Diaz is going to take it. 3 receivers out, but looks like he's going to try and go with quarterback keeper, which is rather unsuccessful. Loses a couple yards on the play. Cameron, they're just switching things up completely at the quarterback position. They started out primarily with Aaron Sanchez, but now since they're in such a deficit, they're going to try and put in Jaden Diaz.
Definitely, and that's smart. You want to give Aaron Sanchez the opportunity to rest up after the amount of hits that he's taken tonight from the front 7 of the Jaguars.
All right, Diaz sends it out quick to the middle of the field. Nice catch made by number 5, Brandon Belize. That's going to give the Onate High School Knights another 1st down. However, too little, too late, as they're still down 42 points.
So, Max, now that there isn't a whole lot going on in this game, how about them fighting New Mexico State Aggies, man?
There we go, Cameron. I believe they could make it to a bowl game this year. And, you know, it's kind of interesting because pass almost understep, but it's kind of almost interesting because, you know, typically we say that every year, but now some statisticians and other analysts across the country are agreeing with us.
Well, you know, they put up a pretty good and respectable fight last night in Tempe, Arizona. Did you see the catch that number 16, Jaleel Scott, made in the corner of the end zone?
Absolutely spectacular, Cameron.
Unbelievable. The catch of the year. I don't think anything can top that this college football season.
I agree, Cameron. Seems to be mimicking Odell Beckham, the wide receiver for the New York Giants. Jaden Diaz is sacked in the backfield by number 4, Damian D'Lo Lopez of the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars. Less than 1 minute left to go here in the Field of Dreams. Jaguars 49, Knights 7. After that sack, it will set up a 3rd and 19.
I'll tell you what, Max,
Onate.
these next couple weeks for the Aggies are going to be critical as Diaz throws an interception.
It's going to be run back. Number 3 cuts forward. He's
going
still
all the
going.
way.
And it looks like Cameron, if he had broken that tackle, he would have. He'll be forced out of bounds just short. And a flag is out. I wonder what that was, Cameron. It was a bit late, perhaps for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Not sure. It doesn't really matter because, you know, the Jaguars are absolutely throttling the Knights here.
This is true.
And with that, with the running clock in the 4th quarter,
He's going to send things down. And that's going to do it for us here at the Field of Dreams. Final score, Atrisco Heritage Academy Jaguars 49, Onate Knights 7. Cameron, there's going to be quite a bit of improvement that's going to need to happen from Onate High School if they want their next game to be, you know, much closer than their 42-point deficit tonight at their homecoming game.
definitely, Max. Definitely a lot to improve on offense and defense. We'll see how Coach Belize leads his Knights to a rebound following this terrible loss.
Yeah, certainly, Cameron. But Patrick Johnson's going to be celebrating. I'm sure there's going to be a party in Albuquerque tonight. Once again,
That's
my
right.
name is Max Sanchez. I've been doing play-by-play for you tonight. I'm joined by my partner, Cameron Castillo. We just like to give a big shout-out to Bill Fox. What's Matt's last name?
Matt Dawkins.
Matt
Max.
Dawkins, our executive producers, and all the staff here at LCPS TV. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week.
Go Aggies. Beat UNL.
Yes, sir.